Like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show. Weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillars. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny us the right to
Good
live?
morning, folks, and welcome to another edition of the Roger Report Live, the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, go ahead and take a moment out to hit that like button, because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media, and you don't have to worry about that because you're going to have me right here to make sure that happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead and hit that like button, because you already know what time it is, and you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've even seen some people do it well. But what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this. And it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course you do. So share the content now. Share it through your social media. Share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, we are back with another interesting episode here at the Roger Report Live. But y'all know interesting episodes is the only type of episodes that I even do. I don't even waste my time with the ones that ain't interesting. And today, because I do deal with the ones that are interesting, we are going to deal with this particular episode, which is who should care? The black women are still losing jobs. Okay. Yep. I know. Who should care that black women are still losing jobs? 600,000, y'all. 600,000. Okay. Now, before we get into this, I want to say shout out to all the people who come through on a regular basis that make up the fam. Appreciate y'all being here. Of course, appreciate y'all being here. Shout out to all the people who, leave comments after the stream. Those that helps with the algorithm, helps grow the channel. I appreciate everyone who does that. Shout out to the people who hype me up every chance they get. Always a great thing to do, and I'm going to say, man, don't just throw the hype side around like that. You got to say at least one a week for me, y'all. You got to say something for me. I mean, come on. Let's just be realistic here. And shout out to all the people who hit that like button, because, of course, it's a main staple on how to help grow the channel, and I appreciate everyone who does that. And if you've been around here for any kind of period of time, y'all know I need it I need them more than other people need them anyway. Y'all know how they do me around here. So make sure you hit that like button. That's real talk. And shout out to the people who go above and beyond the call of duty. The people who drop a little something on the wood over here at the Roger Report, because each and every one of y'all are important. And shout out to Andrew B. Okay, Andrew B is the sponsor of today's stream. He came through. I think it was toward the end of last year that he joined us. Okay, over here at the Roger Report Live. He was new at that point. Shout out to Andrew B. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. And that's real talk. And let me say what's up to some of the first people to check in this morning, because when you start up a show, it's always great that you got a few people checking in, but y'all know how it goes. There can only be one. And I'm gonna say shout out especially to the one today, y'all, because man, I thought I put the show up last night, and then I come to realize I didn't put up the show last night. So at 9 o'clock, I got to put the show together. So I started a little late just so y'all have time to check out the link that was in the description. My apologies. I made a mistake on that end. That was my mistake. So who was a Highlander? Somebody who was really looking out for the show. That's how I'm looking at that one. Somebody who was really looking out for the show. So shout out to the Highlander of today's stream. My main man, the Great Black Reset, happened to get it, y'all. The Great Black Reset was really looking. So shout out to you, brother. Salute to you. Appreciate you. And that's real talk. Also, shout out to Floyd Thompson in the building, coming right behind him. Yay. Glad to see you here. We got Red Pill Sleeper Cell in the house. Great to see you, brother. Great to see you. Bucket is in the building as well. Bronk is here. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. Inspired Truth Broadcast is in the building. Great to see you. Afro Merchant is here. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? Great to see you as well. And y'all, we about to get into it because this was a heck of a situation here, man. Man, I messed around and saw this yesterday, and I'm like, whoo, what's going on? We up to 600,000 black women, y'all, that done lost a job. We up to 600,000 now. Now, a lot of people make these things, and they're making these issues about Trump and what he's done since he got in. And I'm not going to act like 600,000 ain't a big number. That's a big number. It's a sizable number. Now, it ain't as big as people are making it out to be. I'm going to say that. It's not as big as people making it out to be, but I'm going to go realistic on something, y'all. When you the person who lose your job, it is a big deal to you. Let's be perfectly real on that one. When you the person that lose the job, it's a big deal, y'all. I told y'all before, y'all, my daddy told me when I was a kid. It's the only measuring stick I really even use, truth be told. Okay, my daddy told me when I was a kid. Now, I don't know where he got it from, or if it's something he came up with on his own. I don't know. He was just a father passing down wisdom. You know what he said to me? He said, son, you in a recession when your friends lose their jobs, okay? And you are in a depression when you lose yours, okay? That's what he told me. And all throughout my adult life, I have found that to be extremely good advice, okay? Extremely good advice. That's how you know what the real is. So, yeah, 600,000 black women have lost jobs. The year ain't over yet now. It ain't over yet. We still got a little bit more to go. It ain't over yet, okay? We in August now. We still got some time for other things to happen. We definitely got some time for other things to happen. So we will see how it goes. Now, as I listen to this report, I'm going to say, y'all, it was some things that kind of caught my eye. Certain thoughts going to pop up because I understand how things go to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? And appreciate you, Mr. Me Too. Appreciate you, brother. Okay? You know what I'm talking about. Now, the thing is, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm chuckling because I just happened to see Sleeper says, say the strip club is hiring. You may have a point on that one, brother. You may have a point on that one. Okay. The strip club, yes, is available. Now, not too long ago, I did mention that, it's women struggling at the strip club. So I'm sure they hiring, but they are struggling at the strip club. Okay. They are struggling at the strip club, and that's real talk. You know what? I got Mr. Z backstage. Mr. Z, are you short on time, or you need to kind of come up early? Is that what's going on, brother? Because if you need to come up early, or you know what, you cool like that, I'll just let you come up early. Okay, I ain't saying everybody else come up, y'all. I like to let people in around that 30-minute mark. That's what I like to do. But if Mr. Z got to get in, you know what I'm saying, I rocks with Mr. Z. I'm gonna let him get on. And I told y'all before, so Roger play favorites sometimes, so y'all got to just bear with me, okay? Y'all got to bear with me sometime, okay? I see y'all in the chat. This is Mrs. Z Live. Well, I mean, he ain't got it quite like that. But he good people. So I'm gonna let Mrs. Z come up a little early. I know this is the kind of topic that he definitely would like to sink his teeth into. So, we gonna let him do his thing. He's been a good supporter. I try to be a great supporter of his. So what's popping, Mr. Z, man? We getting into this. We got 600,000 now. 600,000 black women done been fired. I put this very interesting report in the link. I'm gonna get into that in a minute, but you start with this wherever you want to start, brother. Go ahead. Do your thing.
First, thank you, Raj, for having me up early. Hopefully you guys can hear me clearly. Can you hear me clearly, Raj? Okay, I don't know. Anyway, okay, so hopefully you guys can hear me clearly. Shout out to the chat, shout out to the Roger Report, and shout out to Dr. Richie. That's the link that Raj put up. A brother tried to go at him. If you know, you know, and Dr. Richie is still doing his thing. Shout out to him. Okay, first, so I put the definition of autonomy in the back chat, and I'm gonna read it right now. Autonomy means the power or right of a country, organization, or person to govern, rule, or make decisions independently without outside control. Now, why am I reading the definition of autonomy to this? Ladies, this is what autonomy look like, right? I wanted to speak about shock absorbers. Shock absorbers, Z? Yes. Car shock absorbers. Car shock absorbers control the up and down movement of a vehicle's springs and suspension. They change the kinetic energy of bumps into heat energy using hydraulic fluid. This keeps tires safely on the road, stops excessive bouncing, and makes the ride smooth. Makes the ride smooth. Ladies, when you don't have a man, when you're not coupled up, when you're not married to a man, when you don't have a man who knows and is obligated to you, guess what? Life is going to be rough. And when you get those shocks in life, financial shocks in life, your life is not going to be smooth, right? This keeps tires safely on the road, stop excessive bouncing, and makes the ride smooth. You don't have a man, a partner, partner that helps to smooth out the shocks in life, right? So the 600,000 unemployed, largely single black women, when you couple that, especially for some of us younger Xers that's around Raj age, some of us millennials around Mr. Z's age, and and then Gen Z, that wealth transfer that's coming, that's gonna go from the boomers and the little bit of silent generation that's still alive, all that wealth transfer that's about to come through, and then which are gonna go mainly to coupled up married white folks, that's gonna turn the wealth gap into a wealth chasm. And then you're going to be a single black woman in America, with automation and machine learning taking jobs. Good luck. right? So thanks, Raj, for having me up. I just want to emphasize that we already know that 40% of Americans can't afford a $500 emergency. I say this all the time. 60% of Americans can't afford a $1,000 emergency. What is America going to look like? What are black women going to look like losing hundreds of thousands of jobs in a matter of a couple years? Yes, you're air quotes college educated, but what does that mean in a society that always told you were black first? You thought you was woman first, right? You thought that. It looked like the country telling you something else. Good luck. Maybe you know what? I'll give you this, ladies. Maybe white women could afford to be single, and most of them are not. Maybe white women could afford to be single, but can you afford to be single? Maybe they can. But last time I checked, never married black women have 8 cents in a white man's dollar. Wealth of anywhere between $200 and $3,300. And then even for the college educated black women who never marry, they have wealth of $11,000 when approaching retirement. When their married female counterparts, black women, college educated that are married, have $424,000 in wealth. Can you afford your autonomy, ladies? I'm just saying, and don't look like it. Thanks, Raj, for having me up. I'm gonna stay for a couple minutes, but I do have to drop after a little while. But thanks for having me up.
Not a problem, brother. Not a problem. You know, I figured something was going on. I caught your signals in the back. I just say that. I caught the signals. All right, y'all. Well, I'm going to say this, y'all. I have a very relaxed attitude about the situation because I'm going to say what it is, y'all. Now, I just did a quick little Google. Okay, Google my friend. I don't know if it's your friend, but Google my friend. I just simply asked how many black women live in America. There are approximately 21.1 million black women and girls living in the United States, according to the data estimates from the U.S. Census Bureau. Okay, what does that mean to me? To me, that means 21.1 million, and some of those are girls. You got 600,000 women who've, 600,000 of them who estimated at this point have lost a job this year. Just ain't that many. When I think about percentage wise, this is not a big job loss. Like I say, sometimes people make things bigger, makes things seem bigger than what they are. It's only 600,000. When you compare that to 21.1 million, and all of them people ain't looking for a job because some of those are girls. What's the big deal? What is really the big deal? So do I see black women in trouble because they lost 600,000 jobs? No, I don't see trouble yet. And I'm going to say this, y'all. As the gentleman gave this report, he said something. Well, first of all, stuff that really was meant for black men got really kind of transferred over to women because, they talking about black women are the canaries in the coal mine. So it ain't the brothers, huh? And it's not people. It wasn't us collectively. It was black women are the canaries in the coal mine. I find that to be a very interesting concept, okay? And he emphasized something that everybody should have heard, but I don't know if it really affected people. He said, black women, they were having some struggles where they literally started to struggle more than black men, which is not normally the case. So if black men are unemployed, because that's what he was referring to, the unemployment rate. If black men are unemployed, we don't really need to pay no attention to that. But if black women become a little more unemployed than black men, now the country needs to wake up. Boy, that's interesting. That's all I can say. That was extremely interesting to me. Now I'm seeing the brother, because it's a brother reporting this. I'm seeing, like, bro, are you even connecting with the story? But I mean, he's doing what I think a lot of black men do. Now, again, y'all, I don't get on content creators, but this guy's a professional, and I'm just pointing out something that I noticed as he covered the story. Not to get on his case. But black men have always had this alarm or concern for black women. And I'm saying we so trained at this point, it's up to the point we don't even recognize ourselves. When you say it's a problem because black men have more employment than black women, when you say that's a problem and you don't even recognize really what you're saying when you black, that's a little too far gone. I don't know what pill you're supposed to take if it ain't the red one. Okay. I don't know what pill you're supposed to take. But when you can say something like that and not even catch it, man, that's amazing to me. You can go ahead and chime in if you want, Mrs. Z.
Oh, Raj, I read the definition of autonomy earlier, and that was me directing the answer right to your question. And what I was emphasizing is, in a well-ordered society where black men run it, in a well-ordered community, once again where black men run it, then it would be our concern if black women were so unemployed. But if you're speaking about a group of people that have been swearing by their autonomy for at least the past 6 decades, 7, then it's no one's business. It's no one outside of individual black women, or if they want to collectivize, but good luck on that when a lot of black women who don't have money are trying to sell things to other black women who don't have money. I don't know what they would be trying to sell because they don't have money to make the purchases to sell something anyway. Anyway, the math don't math. Simply put, Raj, this is not the time to be living off of this autonomy, this idea of hyper independence. And to be frank with you, and we have brothers who say this all the time, we let our hands off the wheel and let them figure it out. That's all it is. This is what the ladies wanted. Raj, you say there's the single baby mama community and then there's the black community run by black men. Well, if the single baby mama community is having struggles, and that's black women with children and without children, but they don't have no man, no black man, then, I mean, this is what they wanted. Maybe they didn't read the fine print. Maybe they did read the fine print and decided they're going to do it anyway. They're not going to be on a black man's program anyway, but I mean, Raj, you know what country you live in, right? I know what country I live in. I appreciate, like we always knew, like, but at least for black men, weren't we told last hired, first fired, first fired, last hired? I mean, we know that when the system get a cold, black men have the flu. Like we knew that. We were always told that. Maybe black women thought they were exempt from that because they're black plus woman. Oh, I forgot, they woman and then black. I'm sorry, I forgot. But now the society and the system is showing them how easily they can be thrown overboard, and they will be the first to be thrown overboard. I mean,
maybe their daddy didn't tell them what my daddy told me. My daddy told me when it comes to a job, you only good as your last day. Oh, my daddy said. He said, basically, anytime you clock out, you don't know if you got a job the next day.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my daddy said. Okay. Now, I don't know. Maybe black women ain't listen to their black daddies to understand that everything is not as quote unquote stable as you think it is sometimes. Now, am I going to say they're having a problem? I'm going to say this. It's only 600,000 jobs. Okay. That's what I'm going to say. It's only 600,000 jobs. And he did mention black women's, with what they got going on as far as entrepreneurship. They can just hire each other. They can do that. Now, I understand he said,
Raj, 98% of black female businesses are sole proprietorships. They don't have no employee. 98%. Who they gonna hire when you cash strapped?
See,
not gonna happen. Go ahead, Raj. I'm sorry.
He was alluding to some of the very same thing, basically. Look, man, sometimes you got to get together and dig in. So at the end of the day, they gonna be able to figure it out. They'll be able to figure it out. They'll have to. See, this is America where, you can think for yourself. It's still legal here, y'all. It's still legal here.
Barely.
So you got to do some stuff that other people do. And you know what? Sometimes you got to take the ideas of successful people. You got to learn, you got to want it at the end of the day. You got to want it. So you got to want to figure out how to be successful. You got to figure out what job is going to put you in position where they can't just get rid of you right away. And you can figure out what
Sounds like
business
marriage.
yeah. And you can figure out what business you can come up with that will be able to make some type of sustainable income for you and possibly put you in a position to start hiring other people. There's nothing wrong with being, an entrepreneur and just being a a self-proprietor. Nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? But is that going to take care of you? If it is, cool. But if it ain't, maybe you should do something else. It is what it is. Now, I don't even know if they've counted all the businesses Black women have because, a lot of people don't necessarily even say on their taxes that, I do hair. A lot of Black women do hair. Okay, they do nails, they do stuff from home, they got their little hustles. So at the end of the day, do I believe Black women are going to have an income problem? Not really. I don't believe they are. They're gonna keep doing what they've been doing. They're gonna keep doing each other's hair. That'll buy
Raj,
some groceries.
we have two South Florida artists, two of which y'all know nationally. One named Rick Ross, one named Ace Hood, and they both made songs about hustling, right? Ace Hood got the hustle hard, Rick Ross got every day I'm hustling, because we know about hustling down here in South Florida. One of them is from Dade County, one is from Broward County. And I agree with you 150%. Ladies, you can always employ yourselves. This is something that Raj tells us that his dad told him, right? You can always employ yourselves. Oh, wait. Actually, maybe not, because that's not how the numbers are working. Anyway, Raj, no, I mean, like, this is the cost. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, or the system is showing you something right now, right? There's a big adjustment going on. America's not in the financial place that it was globally 2 and 3 and 5 decades ago. The gap between America and the near peer competitor China is not what it was 3, 4 decades ago, right? It's America, then China. We're talking about GDP, and then everyone else is still in the single $1 trillion in GDP. But America and China are in the double digits. I think America's somewhere like $30 trillion GDP. I think China's somewhere around like the 14, 15, maybe 22 trillion dollar GDP, somewhere around there, right? And then when you do the purchasing power, then they right up there with us, if not a smidge more. That means that America can play these games internally, domestically, where it's just shooting money out for BS jobs, right? Where you over indexing on employees and it doesn't matter. And you can have these ghost companies, or I think they call it zombie firms, that they really not generating no money, but the US is subsidizing the company to keep you employed. We don't live in that era anymore. Men and women, Black women are going to have to rethink this. And if they don't, then shrugs. And I'm sorry to be ad-libbing earlier, Raj, when you were speaking, but I was trying to emphasize that the business of marriage. If the ladies don't want to be on our program, there is nothing wrong with that. But I mean, you get what you get then.
Mrs. Z, don't believe for a second I'm going against you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have a good idea about how your views come in a certain situation, and I'm throwing certain stuff out there just to even splash something against some of the views that you may possibly have. But I'm just trying to say, to me, this is a very relaxed situation when you understand what time it is. As a man, I've been taught that I better be valuable some kind of way so somebody will pay me. I've been taught that basically my whole life. Now I'm gonna say when I mean it's 600,000 jobs, and it's not a big number for real, but it is a big number if it affects you personally. Because when you lose your job, like I say, that's a depression. Now my thing is this: every one of those women who lost a job has the ability to do something for herself. Maybe she needs to be an entrepreneur at this particular time. Or maybe she needs to go to school for something that is going to be more effective for her personal future. You got to look at how old you are, what industry you're going into. Will this industry even exist when I'm an old person? Am I going to be able to put away something to take care of myself when I, quote unquote, can't work no more? because we all gonna get to a point where we can't work no more because we're gonna be dead at some point. And some of us we gonna get older and we gonna be injured, or we gonna lose sight, we gonna lose hearing. Disabilities come to people when they're older. So if you happen to fall in any of these categories, you got to make sure life is good until you out of here. Maybe it's time for them to just rethink what they're doing. Now, you did say something about marriage, right? Every last one of them women, I ain't gonna say every last one because we don't know, but I think a very high percentage of 600,000 women still have an opportunity to get some guy who's willing to pay for them. So they may not have to work at all. They could just go be a housewife. Now that'll take some level of cooperation, with dealing with a black man, which I totally get that a lot of women don't want to do that. But if the option is there for a man to take care of you and you don't take that option and you want to adjust yourself to thrive in the market, then who should be concerned?
Raj, when I was a kid, I was the cousin that would sit at the table looking at the food while everybody playing. And because I didn't want to eat it, I just my aunts, my mom, my grandma, my granddad, everybody looking at me like, you ain't getting up from that table until you're finished with the vegetables, right? And what happens when everybody outside playing and enjoying life and all the cousins playing outside and you looking out the window watching them play outside, but you're so stubborn and your mom didn't spank you enough and you still, and she like, okay, I ain't even gonna do this no more because it's gonna be a goddamn delete scene in here if I keep on spanking them, right? So keep on whooping them. So you just sitting at the table crying, not eating your vegetables. Guess what? You don't eat. And you don't get to enjoy outside neither. And by the time you finally stuff that last goddamn broccoli in your mouth, guess what? Then it's time to go home and you missed everything. Trust me, I know I did it. So, Raj, what you're saying, what I'm hearing is they don't want to eat their broccoli. So they just at the table crying and pouting because they just refuse to eat their broccoli. And it's okay if they don't eat their broccoli. They just not going to eat.
Okay, I'm going to say shout out to my habitual line stepper brother. YAS4W, Donnie. That's an original habitual line stepper right there. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. I'm gonna say, look, bro, a hungry kid ain't never really bothered me. That's what I'm gonna say. Okay, I want y'all to hear it closely. Okay, and I know people may say, "Wow, Roger, what you saying?" And there might be somebody who, so one of the haters may have their head in here trying to hit with Roger. A hungry kid ain't never bothered me. Okay, they ain't never bothered me. I remember sitting at the table and you ain't want to eat what's being served. You know what they say? Fine, don't eat. You know what I'm saying? I know people that'll just let you be hungry, and it's cool. What you gonna do about it? You a kid. You don't want to eat what we gave you. You can just go home. Now they ain't gonna let you eat nothing else until you eat what you're supposed to eat. That's the trick. So it's just a matter of time. We're gonna see how long it takes you to get hungry enough to eat the stuff that you gotta eat.
I'm just saying.
You'll figure it out. And everybody else got ice cream and whatnot running around, and you looking at them, but you ain't want to eat your broccoli, as you said.
Let me say this, Raj, too. We have a vice president that said something about single cat ladies back in 2024, and I don't think y'all heard him correctly.
He did mention it.
He did, and say he did. And it's funny because we know that vice president, if he is to run, there is a candidate that he would be running against out of New York, a little Latina out of New York, and we call her by her 3 initials. And I just watched her freeze her eggs, trying to freeze her eggs. And he was directing that to her and women like her ass. And her man, supposedly they was engaged, are not working. I'm tying all of this together, everyone. I'm tying all of this together. And apparently her and her man, they didn't work out. And so now she's freezing her eggs or going through the process of freezing her eggs. I'm just saying that lady makes pretty good money in Congress. And it looks like she wants to replace an old, decrepit congresswoman out of California. Y'all know who I'm talking about. It looked like she angling for that position, and if she stay long enough, she gonna get that position. She got the money. Do y'all got the money, black women? I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I'm just,
she is a little bit more prepared than the average black woman. That's
you see what I'm saying?
You know,
You can't do what everybody else do. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
and I'm gonna say not that I'm not saying this as any true political reference, but I think that vice president, I think that's your next president, y'all. I said that when the election's over. I'm pretty sure that's your next president. So, and you might get 8 years of him. So, I mean, do with that what you want to. Do with that what you want to. I ain't saying I'm endorsing him. I'm just saying the way I look at the political scope right now, I'm pretty sure that's your next president. So
now,
when
Roger,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, Roger. Because I'm sorry. So the reason why, and I know you know, but I'm just explaining just in case anybody is slow on the uptake. Why would I bring him up in conversation about Black women and losing these jobs and whether somebody should care or not, or whether Black men should care or not? The man told you as a pejorative, single cat ladies. If he becomes president, screw it. He don't become president. You get another person 4 years, 8 years from now that have his same ideology as president, as an executive. What you think they gonna do? What buttons, what knobs, what levers, what switches you think they gonna move and maneuver in this government to handle a bunch of women who think they're gonna be single cat ladies and not and it really is a question of, does the dollar matter more, or does having that baby matter more? I don't think y'all really appreciate what these folks are saying, especially on the right side of the political spectrum. That baby, you having that baby or 2 or 3 in a nuclear marriage matter more than that dollar you think you're going to make and then spend and then be negative dollars. I'm just saying. Roger, am I seeing something wrong, or you seeing the same thing I'm seeing?
I mean, I don't see us trending in a different direction no time soon. I'm just keep it real. I don't see it trending in a different direction.
Saying.
And see, this is the thing, though. If you like me, America's my country. I love America. I'm patriotic, right? You can do a patriotic thing that I did years ago. See, decades ago, I found myself at a crossroads. And I've said this before. I don't remember exactly what was going on, but I knew I was out of a job at a particular time. Now, I did have a bunch of jobs and things when I was younger because I was trying to get certain things done. So I did move around to a lot of different jobs. And at this one particular point, I had no job. I had just got my very first apartment by myself. My first apartment by myself. I ain't had no job. All I had was $20. But I was fine. See, I didn't have the pride that other people have. I went to a place and bought me some candy. And I just resold candy. And I went back to that place and bought some more and resold some more and bought some more and resold some more and just kept on going. And I was fine. Now, my thing is, I hear 600,000 Black women lose a job. They can do the same thing I did. That's how I look at it. Now, I'm not saying they got to do exactly what I did, but there's something that they can do to hustle too. Are you just going to sit there and go homeless because you ain't got no job no more? Is that what we doing? You finna go homeless? Or you going to, show that you can handle your business? Because, I mean, this America, man, anything a man can do, a woman can do too. And I know that's kind of an annoying what men hearing women say, but I'm saying from a legal perspective, anything I can do, she can do too. So she'll be fine without a job. She can give herself one. That's what my daddy told me. If won't nobody hire you, give yourself a job. These 600,000 women, they have certain insight about Black women that maybe all of us don't have. Can't they just come up with something where it's going to help the majority of Black women and they'll just be okay? Is that such a crazy thought? I don't know. Can't they hustle for it? Go ahead. I mean, I just want to say this is a wonderful time for them to show all of us, because they always got something to prove. Not that people are asking for them to prove it, but they always got something to prove. Ain't this a great time to get it out the mud and show us what's up? Go ahead.
Raj, this is a good time to lean on those networks and that community that black men are supposed to play a junior partner in, or not even play a role in. Just as the young lady I play all the time says, aren't men supposed to what she said, use their muscles, use their listening ears, and carry out instructions. So in that coven, and once again, the definition of coven is an organized group or gathering of witches traditionally believed to consist of 13 members. So if that is what these ladies have created, then they should lean on that quote community, that quote network, that coven, right? That, I mean, I agree with Raj here, where if this is where we are, if we're being let go as black people, black women, and the job market is changing, and as the announcer was saying, black women are the canary in the coal mine. If that's the case, then black women should take the lead in showing us how to still stay afloat in a ever-changing economy, society, country, right? And if they are the canary in the coal mine, if they're deciding that this is their autonomy, even in this late date, even with this economy, even with what they're seeing, is more important than being on a black man's program and being able to breathe, right? If that's what they're saying, and if that's what they're showing, then I mean, who are we to quote save them, right? As as was said by our great scholar out of the state of Tennessee, right, Project Pat, right? Don't save us, you don't want to be saved. I mean, if they don't want to be saved, and they're gonna try to, piece together, a bunch of I'm in the by Nates, then so be it.
Well,
right?
I'm gonna say I do believe they want to be saved. You know what I'm saying? And I think black men should recognize that they want to be saved. I think the problem is that black men don't recognize who they want to be saved by. They do want to be saved. Yeah, they do want to be saved, but they don't want to be saved by black men. They prefer being saved by white men. And
good luck on that.
No. My thing is, I mean, in that 600,000 has lost a job this year. I'm sure somebody had to be married. I'm not gonna argue the average black woman is not married. I totally get that. But I'm saying somebody in that 600,000, just by the big number of 600,000, somebody had a husband, and they perfectly fine. Okay, all the ones who had a husband, I'm sure, are perfectly fine. Okay, they lost a job. It ain't like their husband try to push them out in the job market anyway, because that's not a real thing for black men. Black men don't push their women in the job market. Black men usually try to get black women to stay away from the job market because it's a form of protection. Now, black women don't necessarily agree with this form of protection. So even if a black woman is with a black man, she's probably going to go into the job market anyway, even though she doesn't have to. And now they're creating some very conflicting situations for themselves because they have had so much influence over certain young men growing up. Now you got young men who are starting to say, no, she got to work. Okay. I ain't going to pay all these bills. No, screw that. Now she has to work. And he doesn't care about her protection from the world in general. He think whatever happens to her is fine. Now, my thing is, if you let a few more decades go by, you'll get to a point where now her not having a job will make it where she can't even get a man. She'll be screwed then. But as far as right now is concerned, again, all these women could go to some man, plead their case, and some man to take them in. And what? I'm gonna take that back. I ain't gonna say all because I don't know the condition of each and every woman of this 600,000, but I'm pretty sure the vast majority of this 600,000 can go to some man, and some of them probably have already done so. And you know what? They like, well, I can cook, I can clean the house. Okay, if you already got some kids, I can run errands, including handling your kids. So some of them are straight because they decided, you know what? Let me just go and cooperate with a man. I'm not sure saying that that's any significant number amongst the 600,000 because it's probably not. But at the end of the day, they don't have any real worries. And what's a woman out of work? Nobody's gonna look at an out of work woman as a bad thing. It's nothing to really worry about. We feel sad for women who can't get what they want. And I'm saying that from a societal standpoint. We actually do. Because women, again, don't fight for nothing. And we always giving them stuff. So am I really concerned about an out of work woman? No, you live in America, you're gonna be fine. It ain't like she's not gonna be able to drink water. It ain't like she's not gonna be able to eat food. They gonna feed her, they gonna clothe her, they gonna ask her about her kids. They'll even if you get one of these women where they have become homeless, they will create a situation where that woman won't even have to turn the children over to the father. So I don't think there's nothing for me to concern myself with when I hear about black women losing jobs. To me, I was a little more rattled by the fact that when the man gave the report and he started saying this stuff, and something that used to be regarded as black people, which was really about black men, was starting to be about black women, like being the canaries in the coal mine. All of a sudden, that's black women. If stuff happens on the job market, once it affects black women, now people got to be concerned with it. It ain't got nothing to do with black men. The men was just totally removed from that. So nothing matters until it affects black women now. That's how you tell the job market. Not about what's going on with black men. You now can tell what's going on with the job market when black women get affected. Even though he even said it himself, unemployment is usually higher for black men than it is black women. And the fact that it's an alarm to people that black women are more unemployed than black men, that's alarming. What was we talking about here? And my thing is, if you're saying all this, I mean, it's sad to say, if you want black men's help, to me, this was a very poor way of asking us to help. And I don't know who you think the help is coming from. Because I do believe ultimately black folks got to help black folks. It just is what it is. Now, me, I believe in helping the people that's on your squad. I'm not saying don't give charity to somebody else here or there, but you really should focus. Your main focus of helping should be the people who believe in something about what you believe in. Which is why if I need to help somebody find a job, unless I know you personally as a woman, I'm gonna try to help a brother find a job. If I help a brother find a job, a brother is good, some woman is good, and their kids are good. Now, if I help a woman find a job, nobody may be good because she may not appreciate it. And that's just realistic to me. Do women care about jobs like that? Not that I can tell. Okay, what is it any real value of holding down a job to a woman? The only thing I can tell when black women get jobs, okay, they use that to not listen to black men. So is it useful for the black community for black women to work? And see, I'm saying this, and I'm not one of these people that be like, well, no, I don't want black women to have no job. I don't care whether you work or not. But I am looking at the reality of when black women get a job, do they help the black community from an overall standpoint? And it's hard to prove that they do. So my thing is, they cool, they straight, they'll be all right. And that's going to always be my attitude to them. They're going to be all right at the end of the day, But we got another guest coming up, so I'm going to slow down and let him get in. The Great Black Reset is here. So go ahead and do your thing, my brother.
What's happening, fellas? What's happening, fellas? What's happening, Mr. Z? Man, glad to have you up here this morning. I was having a
What's
good
going on with you?
conversation. Man, I'm good, man. Um, as I said, we got two things going on here. One of the things I've been saying for a couple of years now, and especially since this reversal of DEI, is the white man is putting the white woman back in check. And black women are just collateral damage. I've been saying this for a couple of years. They are going to put white women back in the kitchen by removing them in mass from from the workforce. And white men are doing what I suggest black men do. They just go out and get these jobs and outwork them and put them out of work. That's just what they're doing. That's what's happening. Now, the second way I'm looking at this is, you know what? I believe black women. I choose to believe black women. They've been telling us how educated they are. They're the most educated. They've been telling us they start the most businesses. They've been telling us, as Ebony K. Williams said, that black men been running circles around. Black women been running circles around black men, and black men have a hard time keeping up. Time to prove it, ladies. You strong, independent, don't need a man. Time to prove it. As Roger was saying, it's time for you to get together and prove that you don't need men. Just like that black woman that was pushing that car. Why ain't a bunch of black women get out and help her push it? All these black women that say they got businesses and going on, why you ain't hiring these black women? Why is the unemployment? You know why the unemployment is so high? Because other black women don't give a damn. And if they don't give a damn, I don't give a damn neither. So in closing, I say, so what? And I lay it there.
All right, let me quickly say shout out to Tunnel Run. Tunnel Runner came through. I don't think I said this, but Tunnel Runner came through. Now, he said this yesterday. I'm not sure if I said it. I might have, but I just want to make sure. He said, today, eggs, sausage, grits, fish tacos. Okay? Just so Tunnel Runner eat good every day. I think I said it, but I just wanted to be sure that I got that in. Just wanted to be sure. Yeah. And I'm going to say shout out to my main man, Floyd Thompson, who come through also with 557. So shout out to him for the Trev Bentley tax. He says, www. Betty Starks Enterprises is hiring 600,000 women. So he gonna take the whole lot of them, huh? He gonna take the whole. Shout out to you, Floyd. Shout out to you, brother. Yeah.
You know, the Great Black Reset. You know, Young Bloods had a name to a song that spoke of not giving a damn, and they said something about if you don't give a damn what they don't give a about.
We don't give a what. So, that's right.
Right? Exactly. You see what I'm saying? So thank you. So while you were speaking, that's what I was thinking. But there's a word I think that best defines where black people, namely black women, find themselves. The difference is black men appreciate that, and we actually practice community amongst each other. Black women, maybe not so much. And the word is precarity. And precarity means the state of being unsure, unsafe, or unstable. People mostly use it to talk about life, work without security. It describes a life where you do not know if you will have money, a job, or a home tomorrow. Black people living in this society, black men living in this society, appreciate that. Black women, on the other hand, not so much. And that's maybe why they speak about their autonomy so much and have to live it.
Look, Mr. Z, can you do me a favor? Can you read the definition of that? Just the definition of that one more time. Just read me that definition one more time.
Precarity? Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Precarity means the state of being unsure, unsafe, or unstable. People mostly use it to talk about life or work without security. It describes a life where you do not know if you will have money, a job, or a home tomorrow.
Okay. Now, realistically speaking, when you think about black women and you think about that definition, does that not equal fun?
That sounds pretty fun, right? Yeah. Being on the edge of starvation and homelessness.
They do like to live in a world where things are not quite stable. They like spontaneity. You know, they definitely don't have much regard for stability. You know, they like living on the edge. They like having a rush. You know, you can tell this by the men they go after in a lot of situations. So I don't see this as a problem for them. This is kind of the world they want to live in, and I'm okay with that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not gonna be one of these people that well, we need to pull these women out the job market. No, we don't need to. Let them do them. Let them do them. I don't mind seeing who a person is and making adjustments because they are who they are. Okay, that's just me personally. I'd rather know what the deal is so I can make the right move that's gonna make things good for me. And now, if you part of mine, then I'll worry about you too. It's gonna be me, then mine, and everybody else can do what they do, and I'm be all right. Okay, so
Raj, that sounds like trying to ice skate on a frozen lake where the ice is melting. Good luck. Good luck.
I got to make it a few more decades. I wonder how it's gonna be when I'm really, really old. But I think I'm gonna be where I need to be. So if it's time to die, I'm gonna be all right. Okay, I mean, everything's a little bit personal, people. I don't have no kids at this particular point, so I ain't got to worry about who coming behind me like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm somewhat concerned about my nephews and nieces and all that type of stuff. But if I do what I'm trying to do and I get it done, I think we gonna be all right. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But I'm gonna slow down because Bronx done came up, and let's see what Bronx gonna do with this. Go ahead,
No
Bronx.
going down here.
What up?
No
What
going
up?
down
What
here.
up? Reset. Shut it up. Shut it up, nigga. I ain't trying to hear it today. Shut it up. But anyways, man, most black women actually work in the public sector. Okay, I think it's public sector for federal jobs, federal government jobs, and then the healthcare services sector. Okay, they're working jobs mostly that we don't need. They're working jobs that add really no benefit to society whatsoever. They're working these office jobs when they are working for the federal government, sitting behind a computer at a desk, keying in information, taking phone calls. No real benefit. Okay. In the healthcare sector, there are CNAs. All of them are, of course, saying they nurses, but they CNAs. These are very low level jobs that they are working. Yes, they may have a bachelor's degree, but even the bachelor's degree right now is very diluted. It's not the same as it was 25, 30 years ago, right? It's almost the equivalent of a high school diploma today. So they're simply not skillful. If anyone is running a company and they're seeing that their profits are dropping, that they losing money, one of the first things they're going to do is lay off workers, okay? The first workers they're going to lay off are those who are less beneficial to the company as a whole. Okay, that's just how it works. All right, you all wanted jobs, you all wanted to be equal to men, you wanted to go out there and compete in the workforce. Well, this is what it looks like to compete in the workforce. Go out there, improve your skills, and it won't be so easy to fire you. But until you do that, you're going to be replaceable. I'm gonna let my plane there.
Well, I am gonna say everyone has an individual responsibility to make themselves valuable. You got to give a reason for people to pay you. That's just what it is at the end of the day. If you can't convince nobody to pay you, you go without money. Now, I am gonna say this. He mentioned a lot of jobs were lost in education. I am not a rocket scientist, but when I talk to people in the world and I see what's going on with education, and when I see these reports about how children are being educated, all I can say is I think a lot of people in education need to be fired.
Come on now.
I'm dead serious. We got
Come on now.
kids who can't read. For some idiot said, let's just take cursive out of school. It's people that can't even sign their name out here in the real world. They doing contracts. White man told me not too long ago, yeah, I just make a scribble. Okay. You're a young white man with a long way to go, but he makes a scribble. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's cool. It is what it is. I don't even know if he makes the same scribble all the time. But it is what it is out here. But to me, there's a lot of people in education that need to be fired. Now, I can't say who exactly needs to be fired, but a lot of people in education definitely need to get fired because the results say so.
Raj,
So
oh,
go ahead.
because I'm about to drop.
Let me
Let me
He's
say
about to
this real
drop.
quick. So, the author, there's an author that wrote a book called BS Jobs. So I would argue most women are in BS job fields. That's number one. Number
Yeah.
two, what the brother was saying about the public sector and most women, well, black women working in the public sector. The public sector is the employer of last resort, right? What happens when the employer of last resort decides they don't need you, nor do they really want you there, right? What happens then? Especially when you're not, when you're not coupled up, when there's no one obligated to you, right? You're an adult, so your parents aren't necessarily financially obligated to you. They're not obligated to you, right? They may do for you, and that's great, but they're not. What happens then? And what we're witnessing that now. There's some hard questions that need to be answered here, right? So if we know we're in the era of BS jobs, we know we're in the era of zombie firms that are just being floated by relatively low interest rates that are
Yep.
going up, by the
Yep.
way. So like what
Hmm.
when you living in a different type of economy, a different type of society, did you take this society and the economy keep on going up and to the right? Did you take that for granted? And what happens when your demographic is not eating off of that no more? When the technocrats decide they're gonna sit you down for a couple years, maybe for a decade or two. What happens then? You can ask black men. Black men know the answer to that, right? What happens when the society decides, you know what? Our women have been using you as the mascot for the BS, and you willingly, enthusiastically went along with that. We're gonna sit you down for a few years, maybe for a couple of decades. You know what? Go sit on the bench. What happens then? Just saying. All right, Raj. Thanks for having me up, and I'll talk to y'all later. And all right, y'all. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day.
You too, brother. Take care. Take care. And as he goes down, Champ is coming up, so we're gonna throw it right to Champ. Champ, go ahead, my brother. How you doing?
What's going on, Roger? Happy Thursday. I hope you all are having a good morning. I hope you all are surviving this heat wave, especially here in Missouri. I mean, it's crazy hot out here. But I do have sympathy for black women that do lose their jobs and everything else like that, like girls and everything else. Losing their public sector job that they used to work in the government and everything else, especially because they bust behinds and everything else. They work, over. Sometimes they will work over overtime and everything else. So, in that sense, I have a lot of sympathy for them. My mother worked in the IRS for over 40 years, right after she got out of college and everything else, and made some really good money and everything else. But here's the thing: I kind of wish that a lot of these sisters had a backup plan just in case they can't get the public sector jobs and everything else. I work in the steel factories and everything else, and learn how to drive a forklift and everything else. If some of these sisters had pride in themselves to do something like that, you know, my goodness, after about 10, 15 years of making a nice little paycheck, get a nice little um, house and everything else instead of just complaining when they're just complaining a lot, going on TikTok and everything else, talking about how they're strong and independent. Fine, you can say that, but how strong are you? Are you just saying it just to save face and everything else? So, I mean, a lot of these sisters should have had a backup plan in working in, the private sector fields and everything else, working in some of these light or heavy industrial jobs like some of these black men are doing. What's wrong with being a truck driver and everything else? I do see some sisters doing driving a truck driver, being a truck driver and everything else. There's nothing wrong with that. But heck, that's a nice little paycheck. Heck, being a truck driver, you're gonna make $100,000 a year.
Hey,
So
champ.
yeah,
Here's a crazy idea for you.
Go ahead.
Why don't women just get back to being okay staying at home and raising children?
Nothing wrong with that. But in this economy that we're in right now, it's not allowing for that to happen.
That's not true.
If the black man, it's not quite there yet. We're not there.
Well, actually, their fight to get out of the home and actually start working alongside men is actually what caused the issue in the first place, right? Because when you're surveying your market, now you're seeing that households are making more money because two people are earning income. And so what are people going to do, especially women? They're going to want more. More money's coming in the house. They're going to want more, right? So they're going to spend more, right? And they're going to create a problem that we have now.
Well, look, hey, they're going to have to split the pie and everything else, okay? In this economy that we're in right now, they're going to have to start splitting the pie and everything else. I mean, fine. We'll carry black men will carry the burden and everything else, But if we get lease, work at a part-time job, working at a grocery store or a convenience store, whatever, and everything else, bring a little income. You can use that for yourself and everything else. And me working as a truck driver and everything else, and working as a forklift operator, making $70,000 a year. Hey, or doing welding and everything else.
Well, I'm gonna say this because just to deal with the false narrative, the women could be at home. I'm not saying they should or shouldn't. I don't care either way.
Yeah.
But them being stay-at-home wives cost them literally nothing. So they can't afford to do it. Because it don't cost money to be a stay-at-home wife. So they can afford to do it. It's about do they want to do. Now, my thing is, if you don't want to do that and you want to be out here with the men, you know what I'm saying, and be in the job market, which is something they just don't have to do. I'm cool with you being out here in the job market. But you gotta do what everybody else gotta do. You gotta make yourself valuable out here. And at the end of the day, we earn money by how we make ourselves valuable. Some of us make ourselves valuable through physical labor. Some of us make ourselves valuable, through some type of, the certain levels of mental capacities we have, the things that we study, the school that we go to. I think there's certain things that we need to be more serious about. And I think every American should be a little bit more serious about money. When the gentleman was saying that school debt is keeping people from buying homes. Now, my thing is, I don't believe that. I personally would never agree to say somebody don't need to pay their debt. And some people may be like, well, no, you may say that because of what you owe or what you don't owe. No. The thing is, if I lend somebody money and you create a system where somebody don't have to pay me back, how do I feel about me not being paid back? I don't think that's cool. I don't think you borrow what you don't want to pay back. Now, it's some people that got themselves in certain situations with school loans, and I do understand that. And because of technology, maybe it's not going to pan out the way you want it, or maybe you made a poor decision because that truly wasn't your passion. My thing is, you got to eat that. You got to eat that. I don't believe in corporate welfare, but I don't believe in personal welfare either. Okay? My thing is, it's across the board for me. So you got to get into society, and you got to make yourself valuable so you will be sustained. And to me, that's a personal responsibility. A woman who's a good housewife and her husband will sustain her, she's making herself valuable. A man who has a job and he does what the job asks him to do, and he even sometimes go above and beyond, he's making himself valuable. A person who starts a company and able to make that company profitable, he's making himself valuable. At the end of the day, we all got a personal responsibility to make ourselves valuable. So when I hear about how somebody lost a job, I don't even think it's no big deal. And that's just real talk. But that's how I see the world. But we got a couple other new people up here, so let me let them get in. We got no placeholder needs to get in, then tunnel runner, then kangaroo will be in after that. So no placeholder, you got it.
Morning, Roger. Morning, panel.
Good morning, brother.
Yes. What's going on? So I've been paying attention to a few other things, independent of black women losing their jobs, and it's become apparently clear that a lot of this that's happening is a result of other factors that's going on geopolitically as well as geoeconomically. I'm saying that it's a term, but Mr. Z brought up China and other elements that come into play. But a lot of these women and a lot of jobs that they had was a result of America having a lot of excess, mainly the white man having a lot of excess. And he was in a position to prop up his feminism by giving women jobs that basically allow them to continue to be defined towards the men and undermine the everyday man. So essentially, and also I was mentioning yesterday in the conversation with someone that I was listening to a podcast and they were saying that the new Fed chair, normally the Federal Reserve has two mandates. One mandate is job stability, and the second mandate is basically handling inflation. And in that podcast, they were saying that it seems like the new Fed chair or the Fed in general is basically going to forego job stability, meaning that if you guys have been paying attention to the numbers in terms of like new job creation in the last year or so, it's been pretty dismal. And essentially, normally they resolve that by basically freeing up more money and allowing that to basically allow companies to borrow and basically continue to hire people. They're just not in a position to do that anymore. You know what I'm saying? And these things are going to trickle down. At this point right now, as you guys are mentioning, it's going to affect black women because obviously, I mean, in the white supremacy, if I have a job and there's a black person and a white person, I'm going to get rid of the black person first. So it's not going to improve anytime soon, nor is it going to go back to where it was before. So I mean, my advice to black women at this point is to basically you got to humble yourself, and you basically really have to develop better group dynamics because it's not coming back. Like they're not going to have frivolous jobs. You're going to make $90,000 to $100,000 a year and literally not be advantageous. And I understand what Champ is mentioning about being truck drivers, welders, electricians, and all that. That's that's great. But most of these women, the jobs they had did not involve any of this arduous task. They had jobs that were basically like paper pushing. And I'm saying so. I mean, you got to get back to the home, like Roger said. You got to get back to the home, and that's pretty much the safest place for them at this point right now. But anyway, I'll land right there. Roger, I also send you a cash app. But yes, thank you.
Hello?
I hear
Yeah, I'm
you.
here. Who's next? Who's next?
Tunnel Runner's
Get
next.
finished. Yo. Oh, bro, you here? Okay, my bad, brother. I didn't even know that was you. All right.
Tell me when he's next.
Okay.
I
Hold on. Before y'all
got
go,
this, bro.
hold on. Shout out to no placeholder because he sent the cash app in. He dropped $5, and I appreciate the brother. He says, "Humble calves drink the most milk," and that's a Jamaican saying. And I was gonna kind of ask him to break down for us what that Jamaican saying is before we move on. So, no placeholder. Can you kind of tell us what that means? The humble calf drink the most milk.
That's what I just broke down, Roger. The black women have to get back into the home. They got to humble themselves and get back in under the curtain. I'm saying that's what I'm trying to say. Married women are basically are dealing with the pressures of their changing economy because they've been humbled and they are humble. And I'm saying so. That's what I'm saying. The humble cow drinks the most milk. I'm saying arrogance and pride becomes your downfall.
Hey, no placeholder. Did you check to see what the how many births were had in Jamaica last year?
Yeah, Jamaica birth rate is actually dropping significantly.
It's
Feminism is in
crazy.
Jamaica as well too. Yeah.
So what I want, I mean, I'm sorry if I'm jumping ahead of the line, but what I'm trying to say is we are also facing an existential threat. I don't like as black people in general. Like I mean, some people might consider the diaspora, tethers, all this sort of shit. No, we all came over here on the same thing, and white supremacy has had a heavy hand in trying to make sure that we don't prosper. One of the things that they have done was they gave they gave women position over the men, and now we've seen them the rug pull. So they propped them up, at the detriment of the men, and now they don't need them no more, and now we can really have a collapse in the in the black community as far as we're all concerned here. So my thing is, it's like, yeah, we could talk about all this the black women losing their jobs, and and this, that, and the third, but the thing about it is, we still have, if we care about existing as a people, we have to, what is the next step as men? What should we be doing?
Replace the
You know
women.
what I'm saying? Because I actually I
We
like
got to we
I
got to get
like
the
looking
tunnel.
at
We got to get
children that
tunnel
look
runner.
like me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, turn around and couldn't go.
Yeah.
We,
Sorry.
yeah, we got to get tunnel runner in here, bro. You don't have to wait.
All right.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
tunnel
Tunnel
runner.
Runner get in, but I definitely will address that. But Tunnel Runner get in. Tunnel Runner, you there?
We advocating for us, and he went to sleep.
Now y'all pissed Tunnel Runner off. He done dropped the mic and left stage. Y'all pissed him off.
He going to get them coconut pancakes. That's what he going to do.
All right. Tunnel Runner, jump in when you're ready, brother. Jump in when you're ready. But I'm gonna say, look, when it comes down to it, what we supposed to do, we supposed to let this happen the way it's happening. We supposed to hear a report like this and think it's no big deal. That's the first way you get this stuff settled.
This segment is brought to you by Mr. Z. Mr.
Yeah.
Z, spooling it up.
No, I mean, no. This is the thing. Like I said, I heard the report last night. Even as the gentleman spoke, I'm hearing the words, and it's like nobody should be concerned while black men struggle. But if black women start to deal with that unemployment more than black men, America needs to now be concerned. When you set a premise like that, there is nothing I'm supposed to do to help that situation. It doesn't make sense for me to help that situation. That's acknowledgement that I have so little importance. Me suffering doesn't matter. It only matters when somebody else is suffering. I'm not supposed to help that situation. Does that make sense?
I agree with you 100%, Roger. I think the worst thing that ever happened to black families is women in the workforce. I think that's the worst thing ever happened to the American economy. At first, it seemed like a boom, but now we've kicked the can so far down the road, ain't no more road, and they got to reverse course. And if you are trying to reverse course for black women when it comes to job loss, you're actually working against black families. You don't know it, but you are, because the more they're working, the more they're quote unquote educated, the less they get married, and the less children they have, and then later on they decide to have children. Bro, this is something they brought upon themselves. And if you want them to have accountability and accept responsibility, you got to agree with Roger. You got to sit back and watch this happen to them, because this is what they want.
Hey, Roger.
Yeah,
I
go
need
ahead, Conrad.
I need
There you go.
Mrs. Tunnel Runner could give some classes to these 600,000 women, because she done went through. She done been here a short little time. She done went through about 20 jobs. She telling people what she ain't gonna do, and she telling people what she walking off the job and going on vacation with me for 2 weeks. Just got a job a week ago, but that's because she got me. She got the freedom to do all that kind of stuff. She can walk away from a job that ain't paying her enough to another job because she got something. She got some support. She got a rock that she's living on. You know what I'm saying? So they can learn a lot. They have more freedom. They have more fun. Just get yourself a man. Just learn to cook, clean, and smile. Just smile over time. You'll find out that you can do a lot. You'll live a better life.
Tunnel runner, all they gotta do is be agreeable.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's
Yep.
it. That's literally all they have to do. You
But
know what I'm
that's why they
saying?
won't smile. They won't smile because they don't want to be agreeable. They want to be a pain in the ass. They want drama.
Well, I do have to say,
Yeah, well,
turn
so
around, wife.
anyway, going back to what
Yeah,
I was, Roger, you said he was going to address what I said earlier.
yeah, I am, but I'm gonna say this
We
real
are
quick.
this is an
Well,
existential threat.
can
Now
you hear
I
me?
get it. You know what I'm saying? We could
I'll be
go
good, bro.
outside, we could fly out, we could,
Hey,
you
Brother,
know,
can you hear
go,
me?
you
hey,
know, go meet
can you
women other
can you
places. But at the end of the
can
day,
you hear
I like
Roger?
being black. And
Can you hear Roger?
I cannot hear
Like,
Roger.
yeah,
Hold on. Can you hear me
you
now?
gonna have to.
Can you hear me now?
All right.
Nah, he can't hear you.
He- uh,
Reset your phone because you're talking over Roger and you
Oh,
can't
my
hear him.
bad, my bad. Okay, let
That's
me hop
cool. It's
out and
cool.
come back in. 1 second.
There you go. Go ahead, Roger.
okay. Yeah. Now I'm gonna say Tunnel Runner. When you look at Tunnel Runner's wife, she has a certain thing that she can do that a lot of black women aren't used to anymore. She can be at work and say, "My husband say I ain't got to do that." And see, black women done totally forgot about that. That's a whole different feel than most of them really realize. Because see, when you have husbands have wives that go to work, but husbands have wives that are asked to do certain things, and then wives don't want to do certain things that they're asked to do, and they come home and tell their husband about it. And the husband say, "You ain't got to do it." And then she get to go back to work and say, "My husband say I ain't got to do that." And that puts people at the job in sometimes a hard position because you ain't gonna fire her, but now her husband say she ain't got to do it. Now the thing is, who she gonna listen to? Well, if you got one that's gonna listen to her husband, she's straight, and the people at the job got a problem. Now, if you got one that's gonna listen to the job, then the job is straight because she gonna do whatever she told to do anyway. So it's just up to you. Now, that's why some women, their job is a little bit different than other women with the exact same position. You can have two different women work two different shifts, or even the same shift. Two different employees, and they approach their jobs extremely different because one got a husband who say she ain't got to do it, and the job ain't trying to talk to her husband. It just is what it is. But now you said something earlier about how you said something about how black men need to approach things. That was the question I wanted to address. What was your question again, real quick, Kanguru?
All right. Well, yeah. So I'm saying, yeah, we're actually facing the existential threat. I mean, we are. So we're facing a situation where we're not. It's going to become more and more difficult for us to replicate ourselves with our women. Now, I don't want to sound like one of these white boys, but I mean, I could kind of understand where they're coming from with their plight because I could see it here. We don't have we don't have women
Well,
that
I'm
want
just
to
trying to say,
go ahead.
Guru, if the
Yeah.
women don't want to have children, let them go, bro. I'm saying we were a people that was artificially created by white people anyway. So there's nothing wrong with us not being around. If they don't want to have the children, then so be it. Just find other women. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to beg them to do their job. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I feel you.
Yeah, because if you saying we as far as men are concerned, then we ain't got no problem. We found ourselves in a situation that is recognizable at this point. We didn't recognize it the way it is, decades ago, but we recognize it now. Yeah, you just get somebody else. Yeah, it shouldn't even be. It shouldn't even be a big deal that we should get somebody else. You know, honestly, the average black man makes too much for the average black woman anyway,
Hmm.
because she like a nigga she can control. How you
Yeah.
gonna control the nigga who can make his own decisions? And that's why the black man's mind state is so important. She wants a nigga she can control. She'll prefer you have money. But
Hmm.
if you act like a man, you're not a good target for her. And black men, and I'm pretty sure some of this is spread even in the Jamaican area. A lot of black men think they've achieved something because they got a woman who's supposed to be trying to convince him to pay for her in the first place.
Hmm.
What is having a woman when I got to pay for her? That don't. I'm saying that's not this super great accomplishment that people think it is. A lot of black men measure other men based on whether you got a woman or not, and you're gonna get stupid results because you have a stupid thought process. I never measure a man based on his woman. I measure you based on what you can do and what you know. That's it.
Fair enough.
What's going on with your woman, I couldn't care less about. I don't even have the ability to care less about. No, and so even when I hear 600,000 jobs, my question is, well, how many of these were married women? And did anybody husband call me and say he needs some help? Because I ain't heard about no guy who's married to any of these women, and he called because they need some help. So to me, there is no concern. I don't know if that makes sense to y'all, but I said
It made perfect sense, actually.
Yeah, that if
I
women
agree,
want
Roger.
help, they need to tell their husband. If their husband think it's a community issue, he'll make it a community issue. But I heard no.
Yep.
Have you heard any man talking about we got an issue going on because these women lost their job?
Not me.
Nope.
If my wife loses her job, it makes no difference to me, Roger.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'll just find something else for her to do. I'll just be like, you're going to save us money in the house. And when she saves me money in the house, then I don't have to spend money someplace else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll pay for daycare now, Roger. That shit's like almost $4,000 a month. I'm saying if she's staying home, 4,000 times 12 is $48,000 a year. Just by her staying home, I save fucking $48,000 a year. I'm sorry for cussing. I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You got a country like Korea where they have they're under 0.7 birth rate. If the women still talking crap, them guys saying, "Look, it is what it is." If there were women, the women have to be the ones that want to keep the community together. They are supposed to be the glue. They're supposed to be the helpmates. And if they ain't trying to do it, then you just won't exist.
Yo,
Because
low key Jamaica is right there with Korea, bro.
I mean,
and it's spreading. It's heading this way too.
yeah. I mean, Japan, same way. I mean, if these women don't want to act right, the men are going other places to find women and to have children. Because if those women don't want to act right, that community is going to go down.
Well, I think my thing is, I don't want to address it as being adversarial toward women. When I look at a community, I look at men, their wives, and the children that live in their homes. Okay? So the men who believe in black men's leadership, they are respectable, productive, and functional. The children that live in their homes, that's the community I belong to. As far as I know, no man in this community has had an issue because women have lost jobs this year.
So I'm trying to say, Roger.
For help. Go ahead.
Not only not asking for, not only not asking for help, it's like I want to go back to that student loan issue. Coming like incurring a tremendous amount of debt at high interest just to basically to be validated by people, ridiculous stuff. You know what I'm saying? Not even like getting married and like doing a little part-time school here. You know what I'm saying? That costs a few $100s a year. You know what I'm saying? And working and paying for that. You like you full blown incurring 100,000, 200,000 worth of debt at 7, 8, 9% interest. You know what I'm saying? So when you combine that with having these ridiculous loans, paying $1,000 a month for student loan, paying $2,000 to $3,000 a month for daycare, I'm like, no wonder you don't own a house. You know what I'm saying? These are like mortgage payments. You get what I'm saying, Roger? It's like they're very inefficient, and they deserve basically I'm saying what they are right now.
And all that just to go work a bullshit job. All that just to go work a bullshit job that's not needed, that doesn't produce anything of substantial value to society itself, that could be replaced, at the snap of a finger. All that for that.
Well, see, my thing is, well, go ahead, research, and I'll go after you.
Your community is supposed to cease to exist when majority of the women are making poor decisions. When you got so many of them having abortions, when they're living this life of degeneracy, when they're choosing most of the men that they're having children with are degenerate. And most of our children are coming from degenerate men. Your community is supposed to cease to exist when that happens. It's supposed to.
I'm gonna have to interject. I don't think most of the men are degenerate. I think that they have been undereducated. A lot of these men have a lot of potential.
I didn't say most of the men. I say most of the men, they choose to have children.
Okay, gotcha.
Now I'm gonna say again. My thing is, it's not.
Oh, go ahead, Roger.
I don't look at anything as being adversarial. I just look at I'm supposed to make sure I take care of myself and my wife, my children, my community. So that being the thought process of me, when I hear about a bunch of random women that lost a job, if some husband asks for my help, yeah, I'm gonna help him if I can, because that's my community. I don't even think most of these women is married. So what I'm saying is their job loss don't even register to me. You know, I'm looking at this from a content creator's perspective. If I'm not a content creator, I don't even pay no attention to this. And that's just real talk. Okay. I understand there's always going to be things going on in society that, and some stuff is, it's a society as far as the world scene is concerned. There's going to be things that I can't control. What I have to do is make sure I'm valuable. I got to make sure people are willing to pay me. If I have children, I teach my children the same thing. You got to make sure people are willing to pay you. What is the best thing you can do, the best idea you can come up with, the best function you can do for somebody so they'll give you the most money so you will have the most options, as long as it don't go against your moral code. So for me, a woman losing a job is no big deal. It's a woman in the first place. She has plenty of safety nets if she want one. Why should we even be concerned? That's why, that's part of the reason why I didn't like this report at all. Like, why should we be concerned that 600,000 black women lost a job? Like, why is this even a big deal? I don't get it.
It's not a big deal. This is what they wanted, so they just have to climb their way out of it. They'll have to figure it out like we have to figure it out, right? If we lose jobs, you don't really hear us complaining. We know what it is. We know what we got to do, right? We got to go out there and we got to market ourselves. We have to actually be able to do something of value to get paid what we want to get paid. They're finally starting to understand that, right? They've been comfortable working in those government sector jobs where they're basically sitting at a food stamp office or a Medicaid office or a DMV or somewhere or the IRS, taking phone calls, inputting data. They've gotten comfortable sitting on their ass all day, working those desk jobs, and now those desk jobs are not needed anymore because you got presidents in office right now that are trying to remove a lot of those social so-called benefits, right? That comes along with it. Get out here, build a new skill, and go out and get another job that's more valuable and not gonna fire you.
Yeah, becoming a wife is a new skill, bro. That's why I consider learn that new skill. Learn how to be a wife and good partner.
They don't want to do that though. They want kids, but they don't want to be wives.
I don't care what they want to do, bro. That's what's available to them. That's what's available to you right now. Learn that skill.
They ain't gonna do that.
That's it.
Yes. I'm not tripping on what job. Oh, go ahead.
No. If they don't want to do it, they just deserve to not exist anymore. That's just it. That's all it is to it. And I just think men need to go and find wives from other ethnicities and produce children. And just, hey, man, get off the sinking ship and get on something else. That's it. I don't even understand why it's hard.
Well, my thing is, this is a mindset thing, which I've said black men have been taught to care way too much about women who ain't got nothing to do with you. And that's what this is. I mean, no disrespect to the people, but they're presenting a report. We're supposed to look at this and say, I need to be concerned. What am I need to be concerned about? You know, just like this. Like, I don't see no reason to concern myself with the fact that a bunch of women lost a job. And when I hear something like that, I'm going to see what's the economic thing about it. Not the fact that they lost a job. Is there an economic signal to me that I need to do something different in my life? And I didn't hear that signal in this report. I'm gonna say that people not buying homes. I understand it's hard to buy a home. I get that. Okay. So when somebody say, "Well, these people are struggling to buy homes," well, guess what? If you can't afford a home, maybe the vast majority of us need to wait for the prices to come down a little bit. That's all. That's supply and demand. That's how the market is ran. You don't need to buy a home at the price that it's set to. You need to wait for it to come down a little bit. Just is what it is. You know, if everybody else is in the same boat, then the market will adjust. That's just how I see it. The market gonna adjust. Average person can't buy no home. Cool. Market will adjust. Wait for it. Or just save your
100%.
money and buy cash. You do what you got to do.
Right.
And people may say, well, Roger, that's ridiculous. We talking about a house. I live in the real world. That's real life. If you can't get it
Yeah,
on credit, you buy cash. That's the only options I know about. Either
they
I
used
get
to
it cash or I get it credit.
they used to easy though, Roger. You know what I'm saying? They used to just get money for not doing much at all, and being able to live a lifestyle that the work that they do doesn't afford them, right? So you're talking about a group of women that essentially they're not gonna just be able to stomach a downturn or economic correction. They don't want to sacrifice that lifestyle.
Well, I think they can stomach a downturn. That's what I believe. I believe people
I
can
have
go
no
through a lot
choice.
of trouble and they not gonna die.
He said
Well,
you be alright.
well, this is a reality check. You can't go through life making poor choices and expect not to get poor results. And then you have people like this content creator, who I will remain nameless for me, um, speaking up for them and concerned for them. You're not concerned about the poor choices they're making, but you're concerned about the poor results they're getting.
Yep.
That's making sure that they don't have any accountability in your circle. You know, I can't support that kind of foolishness. And then, as Roger pointed out, you telling lies like, "Oh, black women are the canary in the coal mines." They never were. They never were. They never will be. Because they don't produce anything positive for our GDP.
Nope.
That ain't, they're not the economy's not suffering because they ain't got jobs. Just man, we got to stop as black men trying to save these women, man. Some of them deserve to starve,
True.
As a matter of
and
fact,
this is just
to
the
add to your
I
truth.
point,
agree. I agree. I agree that some of them, the ones that that just likes to just babble, wear their bonnet heads, and everything, they deserve to suffer and everything else. But some of them, and I'm going to say this too, you got to give some of them credit, for wanting to work and try to take care of themselves and want to, be a part of helping the family as well too. Okay.
those are not the women we're talking about, champ. Those women are
Yeah,
married.
because and
That's what I'm trying to
also
say. We're
also the
talking.
ones
Yeah,
who the black women who are
go ahead.
actually valuable in the workplace, those aren't the ones that have been laid off. These are all
Exactly.
those BS jobs, those clerical office and clerical work jobs. These are those women losing jobs. All right. So the ones that are actually like being beneficial to society in some shape, form, or fashion, those aren't the women losing their jobs. We ain't talking about.
Well, I'm saying I don't even know which women are losing their jobs, nor do I care. It doesn't make a difference to me. At the end of the day, you live in an American society. You can do the same things I can do. I've lost jobs before. You know what I did? Got another
Go get another one.
Yep.
one. Okay. When push came to shove, I sustained myself because I started working for myself. These options are still available. If you don't have a job, and I understand how it is, so I'm not trying to even make light of their situation. I understand what it's like when rent is due and you ain't got no job. I get it. And a lot of women panic in those situations. But at the end of the day, if you're not under some man's leadership who's there to, protect you and provide for you and lead you, then you got to figure that out on your own. That's the burden that you accept when you didn't get married. My thing is, she can handle it, man. She is a grown woman. She can handle her situation. Let her thrive. Yeah. Sometimes the best way to thrive is to get thrown out there for real. When you get put out there and when you get left in the forest, you learn how to survive because it's necessary. Now, I'm not saying that you everybody need to be out there where it's got to be necessary for them to thrive, but the mother of invention is necessity. Is it not? Ain't that what the saying is? I don't remember exactly what the saying is, but it's something like that. You know? So
necessity is the mother of all invention.
Right, there you go. Yeah, the mother of all invention is necessity, right? So at the end of the day, I think this is an opportunity for 600,000 black women to see just how great they
Man, sometimes people just losers, man. You know, in every race you got winners and losers, bro. And sometimes people just come in last and they lose, man. And you know what? When you sitting in the stands and you watching the race, you don't ever feel sorry for the loser. You just cheer on the winners. And bro, they just losing. They losing that life because they making poor decisions, man. And to be for real, other than these gynocratic black men that's always me, don't nobody care. Because if you really care, you would go and find a black woman and train her up to do your job and let her have your job and tell your boss she need to have my job because I'm concerned about it. He ain't did that.
Nope. Nope. So that don't even occur. They
You
just
know what I'm saying?
pretend to occur, bro. They pretend to occur. They goddamn self.
I need to go out there and train up a black woman to drive a truck, put it in my truck, and let her have it and tell her, hey, man, just collect the check that should have came to me and you be all right if I really care.
She
You know what I'm saying?
she gonna quit after a couple. Y'all, she gonna quit after a couple weeks.
After
Because
a couple
I'm like,
16-hour shifts. After a couple
yeah,
16-hour
they're not
shifts,
gonna
out, man.
yeah, they're
But
gonna quit after a couple weeks.
for all these dudes that's faking like they care, go out there, find a black woman that ain't got no job, bring her onto your job. Stick up for her. Say, hey, I need you to hire her. I'm gonna train her to do what I do. And when she's good enough, you quit your job and let her have your job. If you care that much.
Boy,
As far as
man.
I'm concerned, let them starve.
Let's see.
Now, hold on
Now let's start the race to do that.
GBR going for the
Go for the jugular.
He going for the jugular. That's the word I'm trying to think of. He going for the jugular. Now, shout out to Gold P. I appreciate the Gold P. He dropped $5.95 on the Cash App. Thank you very much, my brother. He say taxes paid. Appreciate you. Well, let me read this real quick because it seems to be addressed in no placeholder because we're gonna get our Ivy League in here in a moment. Mr. Z Black and Vivek says at the Roger Report Live, no placeholder perfectly immaculately explain geopolitics and the unemployment rate. Hey, I definitely agree. Okay. All right, so we can get our brother in. I'm a PhD is here. I take it where you want to take it, my brother.
I'll salute you, Roger. Hope everybody's doing well. Howdy ho to the chat and howdy ho to the brothers on the panel. This cannot be true, my brothers. Black women are the most educated people in America. Black women are outperforming black men. They're earning more. They're getting jobs. They're buying houses. I'm flabbergasted by these statistics. It ain't nothing but the white Trump institution trying to discourage these good old black women. This is false information, Roger. We all know they're the most educated. We all know they surpass black men in jobs. We all know that they're buying homes. We all know that they got companies. We know this, right?
Oh, we did.
Or as the chickens come home to roost, baby. But now to the broader question: who should care that black women are still losing jobs? Black women. They told Ice Cube they independent. They told Ice Cube black women are different from black people. They told us in America that niggas ain't shit. Right? So from my standpoint, the only person that should care is black women. and Pookie, because now Pookie can't drive their car to hit Miss Thelma while they at work. Right? That's really care. If the nigga washing his nasty ass in her sink eating hot Cheetos, driving her car around while she at work. But other than that, nigga, I don't know. I pass the mic on that.
Man, I got to say shout out to Pookie, man. Shout out to Pookie. You gonna have to make some adjustments, bro.
Pookie and Peanut. Look. Shout out to all the Pookies and Peanuts. The economy is bad. Your milk house losing her job, and they're the most evicted. So nigga,
Wow.
you're gonna be. I don't know where you're gonna be washing. Guess you're gonna be washing your funky ass in the gas station, niggas, and going to that white woman. Shout out to Peanut and Pookie.
Hey, sometimes you gotta slide to the friend that wasn't fired. That's what he gonna have to do. Yeah, your girl Jackie, she still got her job. Yeah, they kept Jackie. Okay, that's cool. Next thing you know, him and Jackie together. Sometimes you gotta make that move, man. Sometimes you gotta. But I mean, what you say is real as I don't know what. You know, it is some real stuff. And at the end of the day, black women should show up for other black women because, as I've been saying for a long time, they doing a whole lot to make sure that if we pay attention, I'll say this: if you pay attention to how they speak when they talk about black people, they talk about the black community, they're not including black men. You hear about their speech. And I'm gonna say shout out to Mr. Z. He just dropped $5.57. So shout out to you for the 12 daily pack. He said, read my last comment, please. I'm about to look for it now, my brother. I'm looking for it now. Wait a minute, did I read this? Did you just do that for what I already read? Because I did read the one that said that no place holds perfectly and immaculately explain geopolitics and the unemployment rate. Are you talking about that one, Mr. Z? Because if you talk about that
Thank
one,
you for that, Mr. Z.
we appreciate you, brother. And I'm gonna say I doubly appreciate you because if you're talking about that one that I happened to read anyway before you even got the cash out there. So if you paid me $5.57 to read what I already read, hey man, I won. That's all I'm gonna say. I won
Man, you
on
need to
that one.
get that money to a black woman, bro. You need to get that woman money to a black woman.
Hold on. Roger not concerned about the unemployment rate. Okay, I was insulted when that man said that if they have an unemployment rate that's worse than black men's, we need to be concerned. What sense does that make? You know, it's problematic, but that's a attitude of black men in general. You know, and I'm just saying that's a huge problem. You know, yeah, it's okay for us to struggle, but if they struggle more than us and then we got a huge problem. That don't even make sense to me. How you gonna be the leader, protector, and provider, and you don't got no job? I'm not saying you actually can't be, but the average man don't have no thought process on how to do that if he's unemployed. So why would you want women to be more employed than you? That's crazy.
Hey man, Uber Eats is hiring. Lyft is hiring. I need some of them rates to go down anyway. So all y'all that's unemployed that got cars, I need y'all to get on the app and sign up so I can get my chicken nuggets a little cheaper.
In 3 minutes, you'll be getting deliveries in 3 minutes.
Man, come on.
Better go out there and get
So,
it. Better figure it
50%
out.
off the delivery fee, GBR, because they fund the market.
Yeah,
That's what you're
yeah,
looking for.
yeah, man. I need to drive that down. I noticed a bunch of black women have been delivering my food, so I feel like they can have jobs if they want to. But I mean, bro, all these black women that claim to have businesses and all that, and they claim to be balling and have CEOs of this company and that company. Why y'all ain't hiring black women?
Man, anybody
Wow.
who actually owns a business knows that scaling a business and making it profitable, that takes work in and of itself. And
But
oftentimes you
we
actually need to stay at a job for a while until you collect the savings that you need to start a business. They ain't doing it that way though. They just have an idea and
now
they go out there, think their idea gonna materialize, and they don't make any money in they business that they just registered, but did nothing else to start it after that.
here's the part that we ain't touched on. A good percentage of these 600,000 black women that are now unemployed was the ratchet black women that these companies couldn't get rid of before the EI was reversed. They had to deal with those bad attitudes and those poor attitudes, or because they had to keep their a certain count up. But once DEI was reversed, they was like, oh, we ain't got to deal with this ratchet Keisha. Oh, she the first to go. I ain't like her anyway. Bro, I'm telling you, their attitudes are affecting them more than anything. And it doesn't, and I'm not talking about a class thing, because a lot of these women got degrees and stuff that they end up getting fired and can't get jobs. Their poor attitudes are keeping them out of the job market. The way that they represent themselves online, because they can't help but draw attention to themselves, because these companies are now checking your profiles online, and they see how you represent yourself, and that's why you're not getting hired, man. But hey, who am I? What do I know?
You just a truck driver, man. Stay in your lane, man. Literally.
I'm trying. I'm trying. The wind keep blowing me to the other lane.
Well, well, see, this is the reason why I love America so much. Because if won't nobody give you a job, you can give yourself one.
That's right.
Sometimes you just got to get that entrepreneurial spirit rocking, and you got to rock it seriously. Now, I know the man mentioned certain things about being an entrepreneur, and he was talking about, they don't have the capital for growth. I mean, do I have an answer for that should come from the government? No, I don't. I think that's a regular thing that people got to deal with. But we probably should stop being so cool with the government giving money to companies that already exist. Again, I don't believe in corporate welfare nor personal welfare. It's America. Everybody's supposed to be getting it out the mud. The only people who ain't supposed to get out the mud is the people who got it through an inheritance for the most part. So if your daddy ain't rich, go get it out the mud.
Reset
And
just
everything gonna be
mentioned.
cool.
Reset just
Hey,
mentioned
Roger.
delivery app. That
I
really
know some
capital
guys
right
are
there.
looking for a second, a third wife, a fourth wife. I even know some guys looking for concubines. So there's stuff out there to do. They just have to go out there and find it. Well, you know what? Those are options as well. Because I did say women could go get married, and a man will take care of them. But there's a lot of that out there. Now, I ain't think about being a second, third, and fourth wife, but those are positions too. And concubine, those are positions too. Now, my thing is a lot of women are already in the concubine position. You know what I'm saying? They definitely messing with men that don't claim them. That's for sure. So it's like they already kind of in a concubine position. They just gonna have to make it work. Some of this hoeing that black women do, they're gonna have to just be out there on the stroll for real. They're gonna have to
Hey,
take
I
it
was about to
seriously now.
say $40 cash app. There goes some business capital right there. $40 cash app. Might have to do a lot of $40 cash apps, but that's business capital.
All the time to say, I can get him capital, Roger. Well, he ready to take on the whole 600,000 if
Hey,
necessary.
hey,
So
they say they looking for capital, right? It's out there. It's out there. Now, do you want it?
look, and my thing is, I'm not trying to make fun of nobody's demise because I wouldn't want somebody laughing at my demise. But I'm trying to see, is this really a demise? A woman without a job, does that really sound like a problem in today's society? Men don't have to women by their job. All you got to do is date the right guy. The problem is dumb. And I'm not that it's a good thing, but it's a real thing. A lot of black men would date a woman who ain't got no job.
And after he was known there for a couple of months, he was like, man, just don't move to my place. Yeah, you know, I ain't been working for the last 3 months. You know, they just hit me with a letter talking about, I'm gonna get evicted. I don't know what I'm gonna do. What are you gonna say? You might as well move in with me. Now, if you got a problem listening to a black man, yes, this could be problematic for you. Now, if you ain't got no problem listening to a black man, I don't even see what the issue is. You move in, y'all get married, and everything gonna be all right. That's why I don't see this as a big deal. You know, they just got far too many options. All right, now everybody sit down. We got the great one himself coming up. Black Uru Strikes is in the building. And of course, he got the mic.
Yeah.
What's up, Black
Welcome back,
Uru?
sir.
How you
Welcome
doing,
back.
brother?
Welcome back.
What up, bro?
Welcome back. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Am I
appreciate
coming
that.
in?
It's been a little minute,
Am I,
man.
am I coming in? Am I coming in clear or
Yes,
Yeah, we
sir.
all got you.
Yes, sir.
okay? Yeah, yeah. Thanks for having me, Roger. I hope you guys are doing well. Um, when I look at that video, I think about, we talk about the gynocracy. What I see is some very gynocratic messaging there. I mean, look, if you know anything about employment statistics, or and both professionally and as a layperson, I've kind of observed these things for generations now, and I can hardly recall a period uh, during my adulthood, maybe my entire life, but certainly during my adulthood, where there was any significant period of time where black men had higher employment rates or lower unemployment rates than black women. So, all this time, where's all the alarmist talk these many generations while, black men have always had much more difficulty getting and keeping jobs than black women. And so when I look at that video, I'm like, okay, well, this is the gynocracy. Keisha lost her job, Denise lost her job, and now the world must stop. Meanwhile, Dwayne and Anthony and Daquan and them can barely get or keep a job. And they talk about it's so strange. I mean, like I say, we really have a gynocracy because they don't talk about black people now. They talk about black women. All the concern and all the alarm and all of the consternation is about the problems of black women. Black men have had these problems for generations, for these getting and keeping jobs and being the first people laid off and the last people hired. You hear about black men with college degrees and no criminal record being less likely to get a job than a white man without a degree who and has done prison time. I mean, all that social science is out there, but yet you got this black man ringing the alarm about black women struggling to get jobs. And the question I would ask is, okay, I mean, because a lot of this is being blamed on Trump and the DEI thing, and just the sort of anti-DEI wave, and I mean, you can make an argument, kind of racistly directed policy that Trump has ushered in. Um, what are those? What are those comparable employment and unemployment rates of black men? Because I don't know if black men are doing better. Probably are doing, probably is struggling just as much, if not even more so. So, when I look at that, I just think this is just more gynocratic programming, because it's not even just what he's reporting. It's just this whole mindset of the black women are in trouble. So now we all must be concerned. And that's what bothers me.
100%. You know, that to me that report was disturbing. And for me to hear it reported the way it was, the way he said it, and it was like, you know, America now needs to be concerned because black women are starting to struggle. Yeah, we know black men been struggling, but don't pay no attention to that. You know, that didn't even make no sense to me. But you know, if you're not a black man, I do understand other people ain't gonna care. I do get that part. You know, but
But he's a black man. He's a black man, and he don't care. Apparently,
that was the made it so disturbing to me that, you know, like I was just like, brother, how could you read those words? And maybe that was your first time, but how do you read those words and it don't catch you? You know?
Yeah, I mean that's why when we talk about the gynocracy and you know passporting and dating out, you know, big part of the reason why I support that is because we have such a kind of a sort of like a caste system that has been created and perpetuated amongst black people, and even just voicing any sort of critique of it puts you in a weird kind of place where you're anti-black women or you're racist or you know it's a very difficult position. I don't envy you younger black men at all. It's like an open air prison that you're in.
And I'm gonna read this from Mr. Z. Yeah. Now, Mr. Z says, as I said before, what matters is the women more than the money. These women are so gone, they don't even know to leverage the babies. Well, I mean,
they actually do leverage the babies, though. They do leverage the babies in the sense that, you know, they be putting men on child support for them, getting all the child tax credits, and, you know, they have babies for their own benefit, so they definitely leveraging the babies in that regard, at least. That's how they get the Section 8 housing assistance, the Medicaid, food stamps, everything.
But I think he's referring to the fact that they're having less babies, so they're not even smart enough to keep the leveraging process going.
Well, that's part of the issue, though. That's part of the issue, though. They're not having babies for the right reasons. They having babies for their own personal financial gain.
No,
that's why
absolutely. But I'm
that's
saying,
why you see 70% of them, 70% of black women who have children are not married.
No, absolutely. Yeah, but he's saying they're not having enough kids. That's exactly what he was saying. You know, they ain't having enough kids. Yeah, they leveraging what they can with the ones they have, but
you gotta but for that system to work, you gotta have enough productive, gainfully employed black men to want to go along with that. Because I mean, yeah, any woman can get pregnant, but I mean, what we're having is, you know, a large percentage of them getting pregnant by the same broke black guy. So there's no economic benefit to them doing that.
Absolutely. You know, and of course they don't blame us at the end of the day that they went out and sought the guy who didn't have nothing going on when the average guy got plenty going on. But we don't hear about it at the end of the day. And shout out to Mrs. Z again. And I'm getting him in because he was up here early, but he had to go. He said they're even doing the wrong thing. They're even doing the wrong thing wrong. They even doing the wrong thing wrong is what I'm saying. Which is, I got to agree with that. Because it is wrong the way they're trying to have babies too leveraged, but they are even doing that the wrong way. And I'm going to say, it's going to be an issue for them because not enough of them are having them. Because, you know, you have a section of black women who trying to stuff and say that they don't need kids because they just very selfish women at the end of the day. And the ideal of sharing with a child is just too far gone for them. You know, so that says something a lot about their characteristics in the first place.
Yeah, ladies, when I tell you, when them ladies get their children and everything else, oh my goodness, they're a handful after that. They're a handful because they don't want to work and they know they can get assistance and everything else from other local community groups and everything else, and that's how some of these ladies live off of and everything else by having a child and getting as citizens, whether it's local government or federal government.
Yeah, but a lot
But
of those resources are drying up, and there used to be a lot more availability of those resources, not just to the poorest black women, but you would have lower middle class working black women, where you had a lot of these additional support, a lot of these additional gratuities, not for profit, uh, your DEI programming, which made employing them or getting them becoming gainfully employed much easier and more promotable. Well, with much of that going away in the wake of the Trump administration in particular, yeah, maybe you still have the poorest of black women who still might, think it's worth, attempting to go to the Section 8 route or whatever. But you have that sort of lower middle and middle black women where all that other programming that wasn't just as strictly impoverished programming, a lot of that has gone away, and that's what has eaten up a lot of that 600,000 in terms of jobs. It's not just the poorest of black women; it's that lower middle and middle black women who have been greatly impacted, and is not likely to recover those positions in the foreseeable future.
Well, what I wanna say is this, because when we talk about 'cause if we're gonna expand the argument, who should care to why black men are not in the conversation, especially when there's no benefits and homelessness is increasing on the rise for black men, et cetera, et cetera. I think that number one, the alternative lifestyle African immigrants for the past decade and a half has done a really good job subduing the black man and decentralizing the black man as part of being in the black race. And we haven't woken up to it till now, right? They have separated themselves with the Democrats. They have separated themselves with employers. They have separated themselves in public policy. So now
Yep.
black automatically meant black women. Black now automatically means black women and black immigrants, right? And that's one of the things that why FBA hate it or not is kind of important, because we're waking up to saying, hey, black men are being left behind. Black men is not being a part of policy, despite the fact that black men's blood has been spilled since the night since forever, and especially in 1968, and it's always been subdued or overtaken by another group of interest to public, to even to people of color. That's when we look at DEI, and they removed it. Black men were pretty much unscathed, right? And that was a wake up call to saying, hey, we're not benefiting, and it was used to kind of put amnesty and vitriol in black women against us. And now that they see that they've been artificially propped up, and even and despite that, they still saying black men ain't shit. So to the overall point, or the point I'm trying to drive home, is that we got to kind of wake up and understand that we are on the island alone. There is no black women coming to save us, and most importantly, a lot of black men are going to fight against us.
Man.
yeah, and
Yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah.
fight thinking we're doing it from an honorable
Exactly.
position as
You know,
well.
the black men that are fighting against us are essentially like the gynocratic men. They're essentially like the modern day version of Uncle Ruckus. They the modern day house nigga, really, because they essentially protecting black feminism, black female feminism.
But see, the
So we
thing
got to
is,
treat them the same.
like I'm saying, they're gonna believe they're doing it from an honorable position.
Yeah.
I gotta
Yeah.
look out
We
for
still
this
got to treat
women.
them the same.
This is the what I say is one of the bigger problems as far as what black men have been taught. You've been taught in any context, you got to make sure that woman okay.
Yeah.
And because we're
Wait,
so willing to make sure that woman is okay, a lot of stuff that we need to concern ourselves about, we'll let it go because she's not okay, and she ain't
wait,
gonna
wait a
never be
minute.
okay.
Wait a minute now. most of these guys that we're talking about now that we're gonna fight against are just like your boy on that podcast that we just watched.
Yeah,
These are
yeah, I
pro.
know.
These
I'm
are
including
wait,
him.
wait, wait. Hold on. Let me get my point out. These are pro-black men. That's what they say they are. They say
Mm,
they pro-black.
no, 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 no,
Now,
no.
you, if you watch that podcast on a regular basis like I do, that man claims to be pro-black.
Okay.
Yes, he does.
Well,
GPR is
this is
right.
what I'm gonna
GPR is
say.
right.
Yeah, I can recognize
This
that
is what
he
I'm
ain't
gonna
pro
say.
black though.
If you watch pro blacks on a regular basis, pro black is just white supremacy. There is no pro black unless you pro black man. What do
But
pro
you,
blacks do that white supremacists don't? They have the same general play. Make sure the women is good. We'll throw something to the children. That's the same play that the white supremacists do. So you're not pro black anything unless you pro black man.
Roger, I think
no,
Roger.
but Roger, I understand your point. I understand what we put forth on this podcast. What I'm doing is I am challenging the point that we have to separate ourselves against these men that we're fighting against. And what I want men to understand is, as you're doing that, most of these men believe and claim to be pro-black.
Yes.
No,
Like Roger, I understand your point, Roger. I understand your point, what you're saying, and changing the definition. But at the same time, we have to speak the common language if we want people to understand. And what GBR is saying is the common understanding of the language, because we got to recognize these people. So I get your point, and I know you're always right and all that, but you got to also understand that if you want people to notice the enemy and identify the enemy, you gotta teach them what the enemy's camouflage look like, and the enemy's camouflage look like as being pro-black.
No, I mean I agree with what y'all saying. I'm not even trying to fight against what y'all saying. I'm just trying to add the fact that you know what I'm saying, because at the end of the day, you cannot be pro black without being pro black man. It's literally impossible. You know.
But we agree with you. But you gotta also
We agree with
No,
you.
no, no. I'm not trying to fight against what y'all saying because I agree with y'all. I'm just adding it. I'm just trying to add it to it. You know what I'm saying? That's all. I'm just trying to add that to the content because I
Just
agree with y'all
emphasizing.
100%.
No, I agree. I agree with that 100%. And what I'm saying is, like, you'll have the Roland Martins of the world, and the people that follow them that claim to be pro-black, and they believe. Here's the scary thing: they believe they're pro-black, bro.
Yes,
They
yes.
believe it down to their toenails that they are
You want to know what's
pro-black.
ironic? You want to know what's ironic? Candace Owens and Brandon Tatum are more pro-black than they are.
Yep.
Hey, nigga, let me give you your white supremacist card right now. I welcome you in.
Yeah, just to
I
mention
don't
those two,
remember.
just to mention those two names.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Pause,
just to
pause,
mention
pause.
those two names,
Can
GBR.
you explain
Pause 1 second.
what we hold on? We need to let him make that argument. I want to hear that argument.
I stand with
Well,
Candace Owens, right? I stand with some y'all.
when it comes to how we should behave,
Wait a minute, Bronx. Wait a minute.
he asked
I
me.
stand with Candace Owens. Y'all have a problem with Candace. Y'all got a problem with me.
All right, Uru.
I got a problem with Candace.
I'm not
Go ahead.
going that far. I'm not going as far as hot sauce with. I'm not going as far as hot sauce with. But I will say this: what I like about
Candace Owens. Yeah.
All right. When it comes to what they talk about as far as black behavior, how we should behave as black people, I agree with that part. Now, I do think they're sellouts. I do think that they, have their own self-interest. They're in it to really make money and grift. I don't think that they are advocates for black people overall. My statement was to say that the stuff they're telling black America versus the stuff that the Roland Martins of the world and that guy in there in the video that we just watched, the stuff that they're telling black America, the stuff that those guys tell black America, the stuff they're telling us is going to get us a lot further than the stuff that Roland Martin and those guys are telling us.
So being the mouthpiece for white supremacy is fine.
What
All right.
What stuff? What stuff is are they
not that
telling us?
perspective about black culture,
Can you
about
still not
the
answer
music that we
what?
accepted, about the music we accept in our community, about the behaviors we celebrate in our community, right? When we talk about the family in the black community, the fact that most
But see,
are
you
born
you know
outside of
that's
wedlock,
bullshit.
they talk about a
That's
lot of that.
bullshit.
They do
Because
talk about it
here's
from a,
why.
they talk about
No, but that's bullshit, Bronx. That's bullshit. Because what they do is they cherry
go
pick
ahead.
a subset of look. You can go in you can go in the worst community. You go in the worst communities of Chicago, worst communities of New York, worst communities, the so-called quote label worst, right? And every morning at 5 or 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, you'll see people getting up to get in the cars or walk down the street to the local bus stop or the subway or whatever to go to and from work every day, even in the worst communities. And then you'll see those same people on Sunday. You'll see those same people on a Wednesday night. You know, a lot of those same people on a Wednesday night go to, Bible class. And then you'll
Yes,
see
sir.
many of those same people on Sunday go to church, go to Sunday school in the worst communities. But what they do is they take your Brandon Taylors and your Candace Owens, they take a few of the people from those communities and then present them as if they represent all the people in those communities. I grew up in Chicago. I live in Chicago. I see these people. I see these
Yeah,
so-called
I
bad
agree with you.
communities with people going to and from work, going to and from school, seeing to their children every day. So even this
Yeah,
whole
I agree
argument
with you.
about black
Well,
culture being terrible, it's a lie. It's an exaggeration of parts of black community, of
I
parts of
well,
agree
black
with you.
community.
I agree with you
Millions
on the
of black men
presentation.
and women going to school, millions of black men and women going to work, millions of black men and women going to churches, but they don't represent black America.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
I agree with
the
you on that.
King
I want to
Von
say this really
represents
quickly.
black
I
America,
want to say this.
right?
I want to say this
Hold
really
on,
quickly.
hold on. Let me respond
Not
real fast. Let me
not
respond real
not
fast.
the
What I'm saying
hundred
is that
guys who went to high school, not the
I'm
100 guys
saying
who went
that
to
you
high
start.
school with King
Let's be
Von
let's be
and
patient.
currently
Who
have
just
a
came back?
job. We don't care nothing about the hundred of guys who went to high school with King Von and are at work right now. We don't give a fuck about those guys. We only care about King Von,
So
and that's the only one
when
they
I'm
talk about.
well, what I'm talking about with Candace on, because now this is why you let children talk, but you just ignore them. Right? That nigga only 30 years old, still a child. He's still learning.
This nigga.
What I'm talking about What I'm talking about is her stance now about the small hats, where her stance now about the alternative lifestyle encroaching in on how we use words and definition. That's the Candace Owens I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the T.I. and Kanye Candace Owens. I'm talking about the Candace Owens that's against Ben Shapiro, the Candace Owens that's bringing fire to the behind of the power and establishment. That's the Candace one that I'm saying today. She's not
Oh
really
no,
talking
look, I
about black
I,
culture.
I agree. I definitely agree with a lot of what Candace Owens has recently presented. But the
Recent, yeah, I'm talking
argument
about the
was
recent.
was that Bronk made was that Candace Owens and that other Joker
He's
are
still
more
young.
pro black than
But
than
you know,
than
Bronk is
those
such
guys.
a
And
teenager,
Yeah,
I don't think
I
they're
do
more
believe that.
pro black.
I do
Even if I
believe that
agree with
because
part of what they say,
Hold
I don't think
on.
they're more
Hey,
part
Roger,
more
can
pro
Hold
black.
guests
on.
get their
Hold
two
on,
minutes when
y'all.
they come in?
I just
Yeah,
y'all
'cause I did walk
y'all
away
hold
for a
up.
second. I did walk away for a second.
Y'all hold up.
I'm
Y'all
back.
hold up.
Y'all done disrespected Shark Sims in a major way because he's dropping in the chat like, man, Roger, I'm wake.
We didn't
I
know he
mean,
was
come on.
here. We didn't
No,
know he
man.
was here,
He on the
Rod.
screen. He
Man,
on the screen like
I've
the rest of
waited.
y'all on
Man,
the screen.
I've waited long too. Everybody waited long. Come on.
No, hey, that man been coming up with stank black reset for 2 days. He deserve he's a little disrespect, you know. But
I
before he
He
washed
come
my
didn't
up,
do it
I
I
today.
want.
He
washed
didn't
my
do it
ass,
today.
reset. I washed my ass. I
Oh,
changed my
okay, I
name.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. But I do want to apologize to Uru. Uru, Brock is very new. He just got his white card, and he don't represent us well yet. So just forgive him for now. You know, don't worry about it. We're gonna get it
Uh,
right. Don't worry
Now,
about it.
now
I'm gonna say
we,
this real clear.
I'm
I'm
sure you. I'm sure you, Uncle Ruckus, will raise him up good and proper right.
now, now I'm gonna say if Candace Owens has changed anything about her rhetoric, I hope she saw that Roger report live about us asking about her black card, and maybe that's what sparked. Maybe some of that got to her. I don't know because I ain't been listening to her. But I don't promote other content creators like that. But it is what it is. I ain't tripping. But I do want to let my main man she got it covered get in today. You know what I'm saying? I do want him to get in. I think he has valuable things to add to this conversation, even though when I was away, it seems like the whole group of y'all didn't think he had much to add. But we
No,
gonna
I
see.
ain't, bro.
We gonna see. So you got it, my brother. Let's see what you gonna do with
How your brothers doing? Welcome back, Uru. We ain't seen you in a minute. We seen you in the chat getting busy, but welcome back to the panel.
Thank you.
Um, Honestly,
Thank
to
you.
answer the question and respect Roger's channel, I'm gonna have to say, yeah, we do have to. It does have something to do with black men. Like you got to look at it like Reset, Great Black Reset. He's a truck driver. He delivers wigs and weaves and pet food. If they don't have no money to pay for that shit, some of us is not gonna be working like we want to. You understand what I'm saying? So that is a major thing, and just to the fact that they are part of our community to a certain extent. And if they broke, we're going to definitely see. We've been seeing a down curve in the community, but if they broke, we definitely going to see some hard times. As for the newest issue you guys brought up, I would definitely say it's funny. Like Uru said that Candace Owens and them they nitpick on what people they want to pick on. I would say we do the same thing as black men because Candace Owens is a black woman at the end of the day, and I respect her because she's an intelligent black woman. She's not on no hate speech about black men all the goddamn time. Every woman is gonna hate black men, but she's not with that whole program, and she represents herself properly. Even if she married to a white man or not, she represents herself properly. And it's not that many black women that we could even point a finger at that does that. So you got to give her some props to that extent. Now everybody has their own point of views about everything. If people is pointing out the ignorant niggas out of the community, I would say that's what you're supposed to do. We're not supposed to pick on Black Uru all the time. He's an upstanding black man. Why we need to even talk about him? He's doing his thing. You gotta criticize the people that's making Uru look bad, like Brock. You know what I'm saying? You gotta criticize those people. You just can't let the Brocks go untouched, and everything you gotta say is about the little things Uru might do, like cut everybody off. But he's still an upstanding citizen. He still gives us mad knowledge. You know what I mean? He still gives us pushback to make us think in different ways that we didn't even look at. So you gotta cut those people throats. And yes, she is more pro-black than Roland Martin. Roland
That's what
Martin
I'm
and them
saying,
work
man.
for them. They work for them people that we always talking about that's against us. He literally works for them people.
it.
So we sometimes we gotta cut people slack, even though we disagree with their message all the time. Sometimes broken clock is right twice a day, and her twice a day is her being a black woman who represents herself properly.
Now I'm gonna say shout out to
I
Red.
just from a political standpoint, I look at them as opposite wings of the same evil bird, of the same evil hawk. And while I might agree with some things that Roland Martin do, I probably agree with certain things that Candace Owens do. I might agree with. Candace Owens also helped Trump to get elected president.
Mhm.
So I don't know how pro-black that was, right? For example, so I mean, the argument was to me was not whether or not I agree with certain parts of what what anyone says. Like I said, I was questioning whether or not they were more pro-black than, and I don't think either side of the political aisle, either the liberal side or the so-called conservative side, are pro-black. I think both sides look at black people in some way as some sort of footstool or launching pad or whipping boy, etc., to affect their own agenda. They just might come at it from opposite directions. But I don't see either of them, either side, promoting the interests of black people.
All right.
And let me
Respectfully,
let me clarify a little bit more too. Let me clarify a little bit.
Hold fast. Shout
Oh,
out
Go
to
ahead.
Red Pill Sleeper Cell.
no,
Appreciate
bro.
you,
You
brother.
said enough, bro.
You know,
Roger, do I have
Now
the
I'm gonna say
privilege
what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say
now,
what I'm gonna say.
hold
Go
fast.
get the
do I
beers,
have the
bro. Go
privilege
get the beers out the fridge for us, please.
Y'all, hold fast. Shout out to Red Pill Sleeper Cell. He dropped $10. Appreciate you, my brother. He says, "Are you saying God lost their jobs?" Well, you know what? I
so
ain't thought about it like that, Red Pill Sleeper Cell. But you
so
right. You right. You know, but God don't need no job. God gonna be fine.
so I
That's how I
wanna
look
I
at that.
wanna address, I wanna address this a little bit about the whole pro black. Like to be fair and then to be honest, black people themselves aren't really pro black. Come on. Half these niggas right now up here dating white women and living in white neighborhoods. So come on, man. We gotta stop this with this pro black.
No, I mean,
Half the
Oh, it's
niggas
time for a roll
showing your
call.
ass.
It's time for it's time for a snowbuddy roll call.
Half these half these niggas did not even introduce you to their employer, talking about oh yeah, this is my man, whatever. Hell no. Y'all think if y'all was bitch broke, you go over to Tunnel Runner, you really think that nigga will introduce you to his Mexican friends? Hell no. Come on, man. Nobody's pro black.
I'm gonna say shout out to Usual Business, y'all. He just dropped in $5. Appreciate your Usual Business. He say one day you chickens will learn you will still be stir fried. Okay. One day you chickens will learn you will still fry. That's what he said. One day you chickens will learn you will still fry. Shout out to Usual Business for that one. And I'm gonna say this now. Now I'm gonna say, hey, dating a white woman could be very pro-black. We just gotta throw that out there. Dating a white woman could be very. It depends on what woman is willing to get on that black man's program, and sometimes you're
Bronco,
gonna
we
have to
hear
get to a
you.
white woman to do it. I'm not saying
Bronco,
And,
that's
we
the
hear
best
you.
way, but
and Tunnel
sometimes
Runner
that
lives in
will
the
work.
blackest part of Atlanta.
Roger
I'm a,
Bronco's
I'm
over here giving white women anal warning, so I don't know.
I'm
And
a,
doesn't
I'm a,
and doesn't Roland Martin isn't Roland Martin married to a female
Us,
preacher?
us, us
That's
older
anti.
guys, us older guys call it the Harry Belafonte doctrine.
there it is. There it is.
Hey,
Listen,
I'm
there's a two there's a
Because
there's a
Harry
two-step
was super
process to
pro black with
the
that white woman.
there's a two-step process to Roger's pro blackness that he hadn't even figured out yet. First, you chase righteousness, then you find the black people in that sector to couple yourself with. We got to chase righteousness first, man.
I agree.
well, I mean, I do agree with that, and I'm gonna say when it comes down to it, because y'all arguing about these different figures, I'm just gonna say in general, none of them have given me a sense that they're pro-black. So even when you say who's the most pro-black, I mean you could say the same thing about two Klan members. Who's the most pro-black out of two Klan members, and you could get a definitive answer depending upon because one of them might be both of them might be cool with killing you, but one might not be cool with hanging you. But you know what I'm saying? He a little bit more pro-black than the other one. So it's
Yeah.
all about where it is at the end of the
I don't
day.
know about that one,
That's
Roger.
that's how I was making my comment. I truly do believe that Brandon Tatum and Candace Owens, as much as I don't agree with a lot of their political philosophy, as much as I don't agree with a lot of what comes out of their mouth, I
You just
believe
said
that people like that are more pro-black than the Roland Martins and
But
I don't know
here's
this guy's name of the world.
Like at the end of the day,
Here's
who cares
where
because
I
about
and
who
agree.
cares who cares
from a
about their
policy
stance?
perspective as
Are they
well.
righteous?
Can,
Who cares about their
can,
stance? Are they representing something righteous? If they
all right,
representing
so
something
short,
like
so
Reset
short,
said,
so
if they
short,
represent something righteous, what's wrong with it? If we don't
so
agree
short.
with
I
what
Well,
believe
look,
I believe that
I agree. I
conservative
agree that
values
I
are
think
typically more productive for black communities than liberal so-called values.
and that's Roland Martin getting his booty played
Exactly.
with leopard
So
pants on.
I believe that they
no,
are.
because
Go ahead.
they're a whole there are conservative guys getting sucked off by other guys in restrooms. So y'all can stop with all that conservative and
I'm
progressive
talking
bullshit
about
because it's super
policies,
freak
No,
show.
we talk. No, we talking about
It's a
policies,
lot of
Uru. Policies,
conservative
not the
guys. It's
people.
conservative guys get backdoor. Well, that whole business with Roland Martin, that ain't none of our business because you don't want nobody in your business. I don't want nobody in my. None of us want anybody in our business. And I think it was foul as fuck for that to be released. None of us want
Uru.
anybody in our bedroom, and that was some bullshit that got pulled on Roland. Now, and that ain't got nothing to do with whether or not I agree with any policy of his. That's his
Okay.
private life. That's his private business.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying,
I can agree with that.
Roger Report Live didn't cover that.
Well, it
I
ain't
heard about it
private.
too. I
It
ain't
ain't
covered that.
private no more, Uru. If you know it.
Well, but I mean,
No, but he didn't publicly present it, did he? I don't recall him doing it.
not that I'm
No,
aware of.
it got publicly presented because he started talking
Right.
against them people that was paying him.
That
So
don't
that's
even
what I'm
matter to
saying.
me for real.
He
Like
not
that's his private life.
he's
Well, my thing is, if you let somebody's bedroom actions sway your politics, you kind of slow anyway. Now I'm
Right.
gonna throw that out there, and this is something that people have been using in politics for a long time. They'll throw something out there. This guy cheated on his wife. This woman did
We
this or
we
whatever.
we have a president who was paying porn stars and is married to an ex-hoe. Let's
ain't
be for
Uru ain't nothing
real.
wrong. Uru ain't
So
nothing
why are
wrong
we
with getting no
concerned about what
pussy.
anybody else is doing in their bedroom?
I
I'm kind of
mean,
proud. I'm kind of proud of him for that. Kind of proud of
Yeah, I'm definitely proud of him.
you know,
Ain't nothing
kind of
wrong with getting
proud
no.
of
Ain't
that.
nothing wrong with getting no pussy. Shit.
I mean, my thing is, it does say something about how you view certain things, and my thing is this: if I was in politics and somebody said something about me, man, what? How y'all treat JFK?
Oh,
Well, I mean, come on now, you know what I'm saying? You think I'm doing something worse than JFK did? That's how I respond. You
J,
know what I'm
J,
saying?
J, Bobby, John and Bobby was tag team in Marilyn Monroe.
Ain't nothing wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So my thing
Right.
is, yeah,
So why are we concerned? So why are we concerned about anybody's business? I don't care what Roland Martin is doing. I'm much more critical of his actual policies and his politics than I am about how he gets down in his
And
and
that's
that's
what
where I'm
bedroom.
Brock.
at.
Was,
That's where I'm
that's
at
what
with it.
Brock.
That's where I'm
That's
at
what
with it.
Brock was. That's what Brock was saying. His
yeah.
politics and everything is not conducive to black people.
On
All right. Now, I don't know. That's me.
Nah,
Some
bro. I hear you, Roger.
Nah,
okay.
somebody went
He
out.
went. He
Somebody
went
went
out.
out.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we just gonna ramble. We gonna roll right over him. We gonna roll right over him. I mean, at the end of the day, the average pro-black is not actually pro-black, and I think it's just important for black people to start waking up to that fact. You are not pro-black
hello.
until you're pro-black man. You know what I'm saying? Pro-blacks believe in the same fundamental things that white supremacists believe in, which is why they ain't never been stopped because white supremacy cool with it.
Mm.
If you was really making a problem for white people address it. Now that's been historically accurate since this country has been a country. If white people ain't really addressing it, you're not the problem you think you are. It's that simple. Well, I'm gonna say for those who are looking, if they're not bothering them, there's a reason they're not bothering them because they think what they're doing is fine. So if you want to really figure
Yeah.
out what pro-black is, figure out who getting
You know
attacked.
how you know you pro black. You know how you know you pro black when you pay off the student loan bills of a few thousand black dudes, and immediately after that you get audited and you lose billions of dollars in investment.
I
That's how
agree.
you know you
Yep.
pro black.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they show who they got a problem with. You know what I'm saying? That ain't never been much of an issue. So, when y'all talk about these figures, and I don't look at all the stuff they say, but I've looked at enough to know I shouldn't be listening to them. You know, I just be wondering why they still important to black people, outside the fact that your white supremacy training is working on you still.
And he's pro-black. Smith is pro-black. We ain't heard him say nothing about politics. We ain't heard him say nothing about King Von and them folks, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So don't talk to me about because some guy, some fake conservative guy, so-called says he's pro-family and all this bullshit. No, you just talking that language for them people that they want to hear and they pay you for to perpetuate negative views about black people overall. You cherry pick 6 or 7 damn communities in Chicago. It's fucking 80 neighborhoods in Chicago. You cherry pick 5 or 6 or what's going on in 5 or 6 or 7 of them, and then present that as if that's all of Black America.
Yeah.
Fuck
And,
that.
and the
And like I
crazy
said
part
the other day,
is this, right? So the point is, the crazy part, you would think that the government will want their money back, complaining how bad student loans are, and this nigga paid them off, and now he's getting audited. Right? That's the crazy part.
you think that'd be the right thing to do.
The point I want to land on is this. So getting back to the subject, right? Where women are losing and who kind of thinks about it. Now that I kind of hear other people's perspective, I kind of want to say that maybe black men need to think about this a little bit. Maybe we should care about a little bit. Because at the end of the day, a woman ain't gonna be too broke, right? Because there's always a dry dick to pay. Right? There's some dry dick out there that's gonna pay. But for the most part, maybe we do need to think about this and what kind of implications this is going to have on black men and especially black boys. We can't forget about that.
Well, on that note, if we want to be realistic about it, the average one of them of this 600,000 was probably just a woman who went to school to get a degree to not listen to us in the first place. So why should I care if she lost her job?
Well, because you don't know how well. I mean, what is the implication? What is the downstream of it, right? For example, if she can't afford wigs, makeup, and shit like that, that's gonna fuck up Reset's job, as was proposed, right?
It's gonna mess up what?
It's gonna truck drivers.
No, we just gonna stop.
Nah, bro.
Stop shipping
We
wigs.
ain't gonna stop shipping that. Shipping ain't gonna stop. We're gonna ship other things.
My point is that one industry supports the other industry, and we don't know how black women losing jobs is going to affect other jobs
in the long run. Yeah,
I don't think they're going to affect.
I think the short-term benefit will take a hit in some areas, but I think the long-term benefit will be maybe some reconfiguring of relationships and of perceptions of the value of relationships. You know, maybe that 17, 18, 19-year-old girl coming up and she got a different perception about men than her mama or her 35-year-old TT had about thinking she don't need no nigga. Maybe those younger girls come up and they say maybe we need to start acting a little bit more decent towards Daquan. So I think short term it might be a problem, but long term it might be beneficial.
2 generations for that.
Well, you got to start somewhere. You got to start.
It ain't gonna take that. It ain't gonna take that long. It ain't gonna take that long. But what black women want more than anything is some type of discretionary income to spend. And when they realize that we're at a time period in our economy that they can't have that outside of being married, they're gonna start getting married, bro. They're gonna start getting married because the unmarried women are literally gonna start starving, bro. About only 100 to 125,000 of these women are probably married. So that means you got about 3. Huh? Go ahead.
You would be a fool to marry a woman just because she's marrying you because she's starving.
Well, we're not talking about the male side of this. We're talking about the female side of this and their thought processes, bro. Bro, these women are gonna be broke, bro. These women are gonna be living in their cars. They're gonna be moving into hotels, trying to maintain their lives. Their children are gonna be destitute and end up going to living with their families. And you know, the one thing they hate for anybody to hear is that they don't have possession of their children. They're gonna suffer, and the other women are gonna see them suffering, bro. That's gonna bring about change. Now, as far as the men who are gonna come up with them,
you hear about younger women, younger black women disowning their mothers. You all hear about that? That they're
No.
going to no contact? Yeah, you hear about these
Yeah, I've
younger
heard
black
about that a
women
little
or
bit
younger
more
black
recently.
females
Yep.
going no contact. To me, that's going to be part of what happened. Part of that reformation that Great Black Reset is alluding to, part of that reformation will include them demonizing a lot of what they receive from their mothers that will make some of them, certainly not all of them, I don't know if it's even most of them, but certainly some of them more amendable to some real change in
Yeah.
a positive way. Even if for no other reason but out of a response to rejecting a lot of the bullshit that their mothers and their aunts and their grandmothers taught to them. Because they're going to see, because as GBR is referring to, well, my mother ended up all fucked up. I'm not going to do that. What's his name? Okay, yeah, he's not that cute, but anyway, he got a decent job. Maybe I need to do what he says. To me, the biggest issue and the thing you got to ask going forward for you young men is the state going to stay out of your business? Because if the state
yes,
stays out of your business, y'all can handle these hoes. Y'all can handle these women if the state stay out of your business. Because all these problems has really been about the state getting in folks' business. You know, because
Yep.
I remember when the state, I remember the pre-DV era of black folks. I remember that shit. And hands were being raised and laid. You know, so you can deal with a lot of people when can't nobody call, you know, the white man to come try to get in your shit. And that's gonna be the real question.
Yeah. And I'm gonna say, if 600,000 women lost their job, and I just said, hey, okay, let's take 25% of them probably. That 25% of them could be married. So it's about 450,000 out there who ain't married. These are women who don't do anything to help black people for the most part, because single black women don't really help black people. Let's be realistic about this. Yeah, some of them gonna have kids and they're gonna abuse their children. They're not gonna raise their children properly. They're not gonna push them to do well in school or anything like that for the most part. So if they starved off and died, what did we really lose? You didn't really
nothing,
lose anything. So you know what I'm
nothing.
saying? Now I'm not saying I want that to happen to them. I'm just saying from a realistic standpoint, you didn't really
No,
lose anything.
no, you gotta look at the spending power and what they spend and what sub industries or subsectors are benefited by black women spending or
Well, we know
employed
what
black.
they spending on: hair,
Yeah,
nails, makeup.
Well, I know what
yeah,
they're not spending it. They're
I
not.
mean,
They're not.
some of those industries, hot
point.
sauce, some of
The
those
point. Well,
industries, hot
chicken.
sauce, we can actually benefit from going away. Like all that hair and nail shit, I think we would actually benefit if a lot of that shit goes away. Because black women by far spend more proportionately on beauty and all that shit than any other group of human beings on the planet.
No,
Period.
no, only,
Any
only,
other group of
only.
people, and a lot of that is wasted. A lot of it is wasted money that could be invested and spent elsewhere. And a lot of it, because a lot of it is going into some Asian hands, a lot of it ain't even circulating
Exactly.
in black families and
No,
black
but
communities.
Bingo.
what I'm saying is just that, for example, shipping and logistics, right? That black men working there, right? Shipping and logistics. So shipping that shit from Asia, Vietnam, China, whatever, right? That's gonna be impactful.
Yeah, that's a good
Besides,
point.
besides, besides, besides beauty, right? Because it's only really hair care, right? Black women spend 12 times the amount of money for hair care. Everything else is pretty much the same. But then other stuff
No,
like
no,
fashion.
they spend considerably
No,
more on makeup and shit like that too.
no.
No,
I know
proportionately
the
they
numbers.
spend more.
I know. No, it's specifically hair care. Hair care. Outside of that, makeup and clothing is not the same. It's specifically hair care. I know the numbers. This is
But
my industry.
what I'm gonna say the makeup and stuff will climb if it's not at the same level now because they definitely get more and more into that stuff. But when it comes down to it, the thing is, if we could have money spent in better places like businesses that black men own, so it is what it is. Sometimes you got to take a lump, you know what I'm saying, and you'll be all right later. Yeah, we could take that hit to the chin right now of them losing this or them losing that. At the end of the day,
I think if you look at the economics of it, very little of that extra money they get is actually coming to the hands of black men. The vast majority of that shit is going to Asian folks, white folks, Indian folks, Arab folks. It's not coming to black men. I mean, whatever number or margin of men brothers who might, hell, even you're saying the trucking, I'll bet you 80 plus, 90 plus percent of all that shit that's being shipped on planes and trains and automobiles is a non-black person. I bet you very small
So
percentage of even all that hair shit that they buy and the nails and all that is even being shipped by black men.
so when you know it's being, but when you look at it when they arrive to the ports, the forklift driver, the people who do the customs, the people who do the unpacking, the people who
But
pack
come
and put
on,
it
hot
on
sauce.
trucks,
How much
some of
percentage of
those
that
some of those
is gonna
are black
stop?
men.
Okay, but
Right, yeah, get to
of
the
all of those
percentages.
men are black?
Black men work
What
at the
percentage
ports.
of those
Black men
men
work
are black? They're not. I'll bet you they are not in any sort of disproportionate number. I'll bet you the vast majority of those men are not black men who are doing all
but
that work.
So
my
look, so
point
what
my
if we
point
break it
is
down to a minuscule level and just look at the community and how the
my
community
point
will look?
my point is that still those are black jobs, right? Where majority of the black jobs, majority of black jobs are in blue collar work. Even when you look at fashion, even when you look at
Yeah, but
fashion,
they're
when
still
you look
gonna ship
at
other stuff, hot sauce. They're still gonna
but
there's gonna be still things on a container. They're not
even
gonna
when you
if the
look
hair
at
stop coming, other stuff is still gonna
even
come
when
in the
you
country now.
even when you look
I'm
at
not gonna lose my
fashion
job because they stop shipping here.
so hold on. Even when
Right.
you look at fashion that people give away to the thrift stores and stuff like that, you know there's a $1 trillion in reselling from thrift stores where they ship that shit over to Nigeria and Africa. That is black men loading it on trucks, shipping it to the port so it can go to India, Indonesia, Africa, Lagos, Kenya, Nairobi. Right, the largest secondhand
So
market.
so
Those are
you're saying
those are
those are
black men.
exclusively. So
No, I'm not
so
saying this.
you're saying that all
I'm
of the
not
shipping
saying.
that
I am not saying exclusively, but what I'm saying is that that kind of spending in the areas where black men work will feel the pinch. That's what I'm
oh,
saying. You work in
But
packing.
well,
If
can I jump in for a second? They're just gonna
if
spend it
you
one.
hold on,
They're gonna spend the
let me
money
finish.
someplace else,
Work
hot
in
sauce.
packing. If you work in the
I mean,
warehouse, if you work in shipping, you'll feel the pinch
no, you won't, hot
because
sauce. They're just
I,
gonna buy
I,
something else.
well,
They're
well,
gonna buy something else that's gonna come on the same ship. They're
Listen,
gonna
hot
buy
sauce is
something else, and
not.
it's still gonna come from Asia. It's
Wait,
still
well,
gonna
wait,
come
hot
from
sauce
Asia.
is
It's still
not
gonna.
hot sauce is not saying black men run these industries. He's saying the trickle down effect will affect
But
black people.
no, listen to what I'm trying to say, Sharp. I'm saying to you,
but
if you
you're
have if you spend $10 billion on
you're
here,
assuming
go ahead, Bucky.
that all the money or most of the money that is being spent by black women is directly benefiting black men, and I
No,
just don't
no,
see how you
we
can
not.
even
what
Do,
confirm
you're
that.
not listening to what I'm
In
saying.
Uhu,
fact,
that would be
I would
idiotic
argue
to think
the
that.
vast
Uhu.
I would argue well over 90% of all of the income of your blue collar, black and white blue collar workers does not come from black women. When you are a police officer, you're not just being paid by black women. That's a blue collar job. When you work streets and sanitation, you're not just being paid by black women. That's a blue collar job. When you work putting up telephone lines or whatever, that's a blue collar job. You're not just working for black women. When you're doing shipping for some distribution center or for some major department store, okay, the black women ain't gonna buy the dress, the white women gonna buy the dress. The black women ain't gonna buy the dress, the Asian women gonna buy the dress. The dress
No, the Asian
still gotta
women
get
not.
fucking
The
moved from
women
point
not.
A to point B,
The Asian women not.
and whether that truck driver is a black man or a white man or whatever, that work is still gonna get done.
No,
That work
because
is still going to get
no,
done.
the
And because
loads
the
and
black trucker,
no,
he's gonna be moving
that is
just
not
as
true.
many
That I
dresses
do
that the
shipping.
Asian women are going to wear.
I do shipping. That is not true. So listen, when black women stop buying makeup, when black women stop buying wigs and weaves, when black women stop buying clothing, when black women stop getting the new iPhone 3, whatever the fuck, they stop getting Samsung, right? So that means the niggas that are selling, the niggas that are at your T-Mobile in the hood selling or giving that shit away, somebody's getting fired.
Look, I don't
Okay,
know
well,
what hood
uh,
you're in, but
Let me
all
land.
the
I'm not
T-Mobile,
finished.
hold on,
I'm not finished.
all
No,
the
you hold on.
T-Mobile
You
places
hold on.
and
I
all
am
the
not finished.
telephone places that
Because at
I
the end
see,
of the day, there's over
all the
40 million
telephone places.
metric tons
Well, let
of
me ask
hair
this
that
question,
shit over there.
because
So,
Now,
so,
Uru,
so
Uru,
custom
Uru, you're being
officers,
disingenuous.
custom
That's not true.
officers. I'm not finished. So custom officers,
how many
custom
black-owned
officers are black people.
We
T-Mobile
not talk.
Truck
We not
stores
drivers are
do
talking
black
you
about.
all
see
We
right,
in
people.
the
not.
hood?
People
We
in
How
the
not.
many
warehouse are black
how many
people.
phones?
The
Uru, we
niggas
not
at the
talking.
I
We
live
T-Mobile,
in
not.
Chicago.
T-Mobile
well,
shop
okay.
I
are
live in the
black people.
Chicago area.
Let him
I've
land. Let
I
him
never
land,
seen
Sean.
a
Just
the
let him land.
largest city
black-owned
in the
or
U.S. The
black-run
world is bigger
T-Mobile
than
store.
Chicago.
They're Arab
The
guys,
slums,
they're white guys, they're
there's
Indian
black
guys.
guys
I
there
don't see
too.
any
But
black guys
when
run. They
women get
might
over
work in those
$1
stores,
million,
but
And
they
that's
don't
what we
own those
saying.
Walmart,
stores.
But
it is
that's
crazy to
what.
think
And
that
that
black
is what
men are
exactly
not
what
going to
he's
feel
saying.
affected. Black men are not going to
That's
Okay,
be
I don't take your
everybody,
argument.
by losing
everybody,
jobs.
hold on, because I've
That
been
is
wanting to make a
crazy
point for
because
13
at the
minutes
end
now.
of at the end of the day, when black women stop spending $1 trillion,
I
there will
want to
be a
rebuttal your point, hot
ripple effect.
sauce.
That's
Oh,
how
Can I,
economics work.
all
But do
right.
not cut me off.
can
Right?
Well,
I listen to
hold on,
everybody
y'all.
else. Don't cut me
I,
off.
hold on. Look, I'm a
Mm.
PhD. Y'all call him by his name. After he's done, I'm gonna say something because I've been waiting 13 minutes to say it, and then I'm gonna let
Because
no
what I
placeholder
I'm
get
said,
in
asking
here.
you, Roger. I'm asking you, Roger.
what I
Yeah.
said was this: at the end of the day, black men are going to feel the pinch when it comes to retail because black women overspend in all types of retail. And so if you work anywhere in an industry that supports retail, whether you at a T fucking mobile or you on a truck on the road, you're going to feel the fucking pinch. That's how basic economics work. I'm done.
Okay, now I'm gonna say, real talk. It doesn't matter unless the company is owned by a black man anyway. Workers losing jobs, you just go get another one. But if some businesses that are not owned by black men go belly up, and black men can get in there and replace them, sounds good to me. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to take a small loss to get a big win. It is what it is. So I'm not arguing what you're saying. I'm just saying let it happen. We'll be okay. We just
Hey,
talking
let me
about some brothers losing jobs. We might get some brothers with some businesses in there when other businesses go belly
Waste your
up.
time, Brian.
We'll be all right. All right,
That's what I was
go
about to
ahead,
say.
no
Let me jump
placeholder.
in after no
I
placeholder.
got after placeholder.
That's what I
Well,
was trying to say, short.
I
Go
got
ahead.
after. I got after Brock. My
So,
bad.
so all right. I'm in full agreement with Black Root. I'm saying, and his point. I'm saying whether they're spending $10 billion on the hair or whatever they're buying, and it has to come on a ship from China or India, wherever it is, they're just going to buy something else, which is still going to come on a ship. I'm saying, and the percentage of, like, for example, a dock worker is not literally basically there solely because black women are buying hair. Or I'm saying they're there because America is a massive country. You know what I'm saying? And basically we literally buy everything from someplace else. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they're there. They're not gonna lose their job because they see 10, 50, or whatever, a couple $1 billion that basically black women are spend on here. You know what I'm saying? And the second point I want to make is that if they stop buying their hair and actually buy something more productive with that money and or save the money, that will benefit black men that they're attached to, assuming that they're going to get married, or they'll benefit their children to like buy insurance or buy other things. I'm saying, and then basically leaving children who are black women or black, I'm saying black girls or black boys. So them not wasting that money is, I'm saying, it can be easily absorbed from any point of logistics. I'm saying, so that's why I'm in full agreement with Black Wood. But anyway, jump in.
So hot
I'm not.
sauce, you made it. You made the argument that it will probably affect
His
jobs
name is
for.
not Hot Sauce. Call him what
My
his
bad,
name
my bad,
is.
my
God have
bad, my
mercy.
bad. I'm a PhD. I'm a PhD. You ain't act like a PhD right now, but since I'm a PhD, you made a point. You said that it's going to affect the trucking industry for black men who have trucking jobs, right? I just looked up the data. According to Research and Markets .com, roughly 150,000 to 200,000 of annual loads shipped in the U.S. are particularly for cosmetics. Okay, the cosmetic industry ships about between 150 to 200,000 annual loads in the U.S. In the U.S. alone, there are annual shipments of about 250 million. So that's not even 1% of that number. So just say it. If if black women stop by here, you personally
Thank
lose
you for
money
bringing
in
numbers to
your
my
business.
point, Brad. Yeah,
You personally,
yeah.
because
So,
because air carrier is probably like 90% of your e-commerce business, you're gonna lose money, but black truckers in the US ain't gonna lose jobs over that, man.
all right. So,
Wait, let me make my point real quick, Hot Sauce,
okay, no
before
problem, no
you cut
problem, no
him off.
problem, no problem, no problem.
I guess what me and Hot Sauce is basically trying to say is there is going to be collateral damage. I don't know if you guys understand it, but it will be collateral damage. I know black women get on our nerves. I know you guys is like, oh, just because black women said they not part of the black community, we are more intelligent than them and we should understand different. This is going to be collateral damage. Uru, we never said black men
Okay,
own these
Char,
phone
have
stores.
you ever heard?
Hold on, Uru, let me finish. We never said black men own these phone stores, but we did say there are young black men and there are young black girls who work in them phone stores. That if that phone store goes down, hey, that's some jobs lost for these kids, for these people. All right. And then Roger says, well, a black man might be able to come in and fill that business. Ain't no black man going to be able to fill no business if there ain't no business for them to fill. Black women ain't buying phones, so you can't just open a phone store because the Arab lost his phone store and think you're going to do better business than he's doing. So yeah, and then you got to remember, just look at
Okay,
the community.
it-
The
and-
community is going to take an effect from
and-
this.
So
okay,
I'm gonna
first of
reply.
all, I
Hold
said
on.
earlier,
I
I
was
said,
after.
well,
I
I
was
mean, he
after.
was talking.
No, they were both
He was
talking to me too, and I said I'm after. I'm after Shark, right? So I'm after Shark. So first, Bronk, I need you to look up a couple things, right? So this is why children are not really allowed at the adult table. So
Go
first, I
ahead,
need
go
you
ahead.
to look up
Lord have mercy.
products, hair products, and clothing products, and fast fashion first. Then I want you to look up how many metric tons are shipped, usable clothes or used clothes or gently used clothes are shipped from America to other places like Lagos and Kenya. Then I also want you to look up the percentage of black women, if you can. I don't know if you can, that buy phones. Because what I said was this:
That by what?
industry of that buy phones,
Close,
clothes,
close.
cosmetics, and care, right? Because what I said was this:
Textiles.
anything that supports retail of black women will take a hit. That's what I said, right? That's what I said. Number two, to no placeholder's point, you said that they're going to buy something more meaningful. If you don't have a job, you're not buying anything. So that money is not being replaced. And the basic boom and recession is when people stop spending money, you start to get into a recession. We're already in a K-shaped economy. So that's what I'm saying to you, crystal clear, is that any industry that support this is going to take a hit. That's trillions of dollars. Number two, we all know this. This is America. The first person that gets cut is the black man. So I'm not saying all black men work in these industries. I'm saying that the black men that do work in these industries, they're going to be the first on the chopping block. And to the last
Okay.
point, to the last point, when we look at distribution and trucking, anything that black women buys, right? Any consumable goods beyond wigs and weaves and beauty, right? That's going to take a hit. Dildos, vibrators, the robes, right? Just like your women
And
buy
now
cruise
he's
ships,
expanding.
right?
No, but
And
these are things.
we're talking about disposable income, right?
No,
Discretionary income. You're the
no, no.
I'm
financial.
going
You
after.
kind of changed the
Bruh.
argument a bit. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, stop, bro.
Hold
Stop,
I
bro.
fast.
mean,
Let
I
So,
have
so
lost.
let's
I've
so
tried to.
I'm
I'm
going
trying to
through.
remember what I was gonna.
no, but
I was gonna
that's not for
respond
you.
to Shark.
That
At
is
this
that is
point,
that is
we got four
well,
different subjects.
I'm landing my plane. I will land my plane as soon as you finish. I can land my plane. As soon as you allow me to land my plane, I'm gonna land the plane. So at the end of the day, that's all I'm gonna say. And just to piss you off, I will take another 30 seconds. Fuck all y'all niggas on this panel. I know what y'all. I know what I'm talking about. Now you can go.
all right, real quick, real
Don't
quick.
get mad, nigga. Don't get mad.
Yeah,
Welcome back.
Chef Mike,
Welcome back,
All right,
on room.
all
Welcome
right.
Chef
back,
Mike
on
can
room.
Chef
Everybody,
Mike can take a day off
everybody
with
slow
y'all
down.
niggas.
Everybody slow down. Everybody slow down. Look, what I'm gonna do, due to time constraints, because we are at the 3 hour mark. Tunnel Runner came back up, so I'm gonna let Tunnel Runner say what he want to say, and then I'm gonna let Black Guru close us out because we are at the 3 hour mark already. So Tunnel Runner, you came back up. Get in whatever you want to say. Black Guru, you dance on their heads any way you want to, and you're gonna be the last word. All right, go ahead, Tunnel Runner.
Okay, Roger. Yeah, just yeah, hey, like I said, take care of yourself, brothers. Uh, go out there, travel, protect yourself at all times, and see safe later.
Okay,
If you
appreciate you,
can.
brother. Appreciate you. All right, Black Rudy, now you get to dance. Go ahead, brother. Do it how you want to.
Cut
You
some
know,
rope, player.
I'm
Cut
gonna
some
say
rope.
this. I think this will address both. This will serve as a rebuttal to Shark and Hot Sauce, but I think they will appreciate it. Shark, have you heard the term? I'm sure you have. Sometimes to take, two steps forward, you got to take one step back.
Yes,
I know
sir.
you've heard that kind of term before.
Yes, sir.
I ain't hear
Now,
shit. I ain't
I'm not disagreeing that there might be some minor or maybe even mid-level short-term negative effects to black men by black women losing their jobs. But I also think that paradigm where black women could buy all the hair they wanted and all the nails they wanted and whatever percentage or increment of black men who might have benefited from that, I would say macroscopically and historically, that has proven to not have been the optimal situation for black people overall, especially black men. Thus, I would argue we might have to take a step or half step, you know, back in order to go forward. So if momentarily, temporarily, a few brothers here or there take a hit, that might be a good thing if it helps to change the environment and the perspective of black women, especially younger black women, going forward. I think particularly younger black women coming up, they need to see their mothers and TT and grandmothers losing their job, maybe losing their homes, losing their cars, etc., from that 600,000 job loss. They might need to see that to change. They need to experience that to change. And yeah, momentarily there will be some black men at some level we don't know that might be impacted by that. But macroscopically, going forward, it may just be what we need. We may need to experience that pain. A few brothers along with them may need to experience that pain to try to begin some sort of reformation. So I'm not going to argue against what you were saying. I'm sure to some degree there is some impact by 600,000 people losing their job to some black men. But That was never the optimal situation for black people to begin with. You know, like I said earlier, we're in an open air prison here. And an open air prison is very deceptive because it gives you the impression of the appearance of freedom, right? You see the air, you get to look at the sky. But nigga, you can't move. You can't get up out of that open air prison. You can't go forward. You can't advance. And I'm saying maybe for us to advance collectively, those hoes need to lose those jobs. They need to lose those jobs. And they need to feel the pain of losing those jobs. And we may need to feel some of that pain of them losing the job for us to go forward. Now, in my closing statement with that.
And shout
All
out
right.
to Peanut. Shout out to
Shout out. Right.
because
I,
All
I
right.
give a fuck about y'all because we know that when black women lose your job, Peanut and Pookie are out on the street too. And I give a fuck about you. These niggas don't, but I care about y'all. Shout out to y'all niggas.
okay, well, you snuck that in because I said I was gonna give Black People the last word. So it's been a great show, y'all. We got past the 3 hour mark, so it just is what it is. We're gonna close it out right here. If you're new here, you want to get access to the best show on social media, and you come right over here to the Roger Report Live. We do this Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., y'all. Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. I will see y'all next time around. Long live the habitual line steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.